dear. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're live, exclusive and free on a Thursday night across Facebook and YouTube. Part one of the doubleheader done and dusted. Our main course is done and dusted, and we are moving into dessert for you in the home of Porsche Racing, Germany, the home of the brand. It's the Porsche Cup doubleheader, the first of three consecutive sprint rounds, the start of the second half of the season. They're in the motherland of Germany, and we are ready to see how this night plays out. Welcome to the Hockenheimring, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Andrew Neil. Welcome also into the booth tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Miller. Good evening to you, mate. We've had a fascinating night so far, and hopefully the Porsches bring the action as well.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to be here twice in a row now, and I love seeing what behind the scenes, and I get the earliest view of the stream.
Well, yeah, in retrospect, you only see it about a second and a half before anybody else, so that's not too bad. The delay going out on the YouTube isn't that much. Television and streaming services, I have you believe it's 30 seconds. It's not. It's about 10 at most. But yes, no, looking forward to getting your insights and views on the Porsches as we go here. We are bringing you the open split race first, ladies and gentlemen. The feature race will come to you from the elite split post-race show as per usual. To follow that, Andrew Neil is here as well. There are the championship standings. Wade Sheedy, a magnificent victory last week. 493, 44 points clear of Paul Wilson, who has 31 on Jordan Pianazzola, who has 32 on Edward Rollo. But he can't afford to cough at the moment because he's only got 3 points over Stephen Gallacher, who has 5 on Luke Wegener, who has 8 on Liam Amos, who has 1 on Todd Suter, who has 8 on Jacob McIntyre, who has 20 on Jason Tierman. So all in all, 152 points covers the top 10 at the moment. And Wade Sheedy is looking good to lead the field to green for the second week in a row. Let's have a look at the circuit. You saw it on the screen there a minute ago. We're about to launch into race mode, ladies and gentlemen. Cars lining up on the grid. Let's have a look at the state of play here. Partly cloudy conditions, 37 degrees on track, 23 the ambient. Those winds are southerly, 12 kilometres an hour. We've got 50% humidity, but thankfully, unlike when we were here in a previous visit with GT3, we've got dry conditions at the moment. 2 o'clock in the afternoon local server time, and the circuit itself 4.5 kilometres in length. Grid looks like this. Wade Sheedy, Tommy Pritchard front row, Jordan Pianazzola, Joel Farley second row, Kurt Nommensen, Jacob McIntyre third row, Jared Turner and Bruce Barnes the fourth row, Stephen Gallacher, Paul Wilson the fifth row, Lee Peckham and Barry Punter from row 6, Luke Wegener and Tristan Koch from row 7, Harrison Rayner and Joel Hansen from 8, Liam Amos, Edward Rollo from 9, Tree Mortons and Kelvin Little from 10, Tyler Craig, Blake Cox from 11, Colin Bennett, Shane Beaumont from 12, Steve Daniels, Justin Keir from 13, Jason Tierman, Tim Watson from 14, Dan Drill and Brendan Luna from 15. Rodney Golan, I don't think he should be in here because he's got a black background next to his position number, so that would suggest that he's meant to be up in the elite split and he may have come in here too early and realised and jumped across, hopefully. If not, he'll be given an invoice by Adam Lavis at the end of the night for racing in the wrong split. Simon Cooper and Patrick Savina make up the field. Now, it's interesting because there are a lot of red positional numbers on that list, ladies and gentlemen. Turner, Rayner, Craig, Daniels, Drill, Luna, and Savina. They've all got red next to their position, like on their position number at the moment. That means they haven't been given a classification with regards to their split. They're racing here until Adam Lavis decides whether they are above or below the cut to be in the elite split or in the open split. So more on that a little bit later, and we'll get a better indication at the end of the night when Adam Lavis crunches the numbers. Righto, ready to rock and roll. Race 1 of the night. There was no real fanfare about that, no real countdown. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and send it and go racing for the first time in the Porsches tonight from Germany, ladies and gentlemen. Second half of the season underway. First of 3 consecutive sprint rounds in as many weeks. Interlagos and Imola to follow. Great start, Wade Sheedy. Good start, Jordan Pianazzola. And Jared Turner's up 2 spots, so too Stephen Gallacher and Paul Wilson. Through they go. No Rodney Golan, no Patrick Savina. 31 cars on the grid and racing. Off track already, Tyler Craig and Luke Wegener in trouble as well. In fact, there's trouble halfway down the back, straight before they got to the curve. Now they're in the braking zone. Wade Sheedy the leader. Brilliant last week at the Silverstone circuit in England in changeable conditions. Now also good in the drive. Big one at the back. It's a car park at the slowest point of the circuit. Lee Peckham's being left behind. Everybody going left and right to take evasive action. Edward Rollo moving up into 13th spot, and that has really split the pack up. Oh, trouble! Big one into the wall. Andrew Neal's replay file is going to be a mile long before the end of the opening lap. Dan Drill, Shane Beaumont in trouble. And really, Jacob, I'm going to throw to you here at this particular point in time. It would appear as though the safest place to be at the moment is right here in the comm box.
Oh, yeah, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable here than I was on track.
Oh, dear. How good's the Porsche racing been so far this season? Andrew Neal, good evening to you. Good to see Jordan Pianazzola up at the pointy end of the field. He's due a good result, our teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a bit of a bumpy couple of races up until now, so let's see how he goes. Hopefully he can hold it together for a good finish.
Jacob McIntyre to pit lane on the opening lap. I dare say he won't be the only one. He might have company in there, yep. Brendan Luna and also Tyler Craig making their way in. So a few guys sustaining damage on the opening lap. Shane Beaumont still trying to limp around to complete the opening lap, but we've still got 31 in the server for the moment. Down the back straight for the second time. Pianazzola lurking behind Wade Sheedy, looking for a way through, but he's not close enough to have a lunge yet. Pianazzola due a good result. Was leading the GT3 Gold Splitters. They turn for home, but a shocker at Le Mans will actually bring him back to the pack and make life difficult for him over the course of the next couple of weeks if he's to remain in title contention there. Last night, he had a cracker of a call in the booth for the BMW M2s. The night only got worse as he jumped behind the wheel of the supercar on the streets of Long Beach. And then, of course, he's been upside down. He's been spinning and pirouetting all around Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in the V's. Oh, dear. Look at that. That's messy and ugly for Luke Wegener. And even worse, there were more incidents beyond that as they got into the arena section of the circuit. And this is the point, though, boys. We've said it all along. If this was a 40-minute race or a 60-minute race, these guys would have time to spread out to find their own clear air, and it would be a little bit stale for us here in the central commentary position. But the sprint racing, and that format especially here at the Hockenheimring, brings out the best in the Porsche races, I feel.
Yeah, Zach, it wouldn't be a Porsche race without a bit of rubbing shoulders, and always very, very lively.
You can tell neither one of them knew exactly which one I was throwing to, ladies and gentlemen. I just left it open for somebody to dive on it, and they went there simultaneously. Oh, I love live broadcasting.
Oh, I knew the second I started talking, someone started talking.
See, that's the problem, right? Some people have mentioned in the past, and I don't know why, I don't know whether to take it as a compliment or an insult, but you've only got a small window of opportunity. You've got about 3 seconds to find some clear air whenever I take a breath, and if you lose your opportunity, you don't take advantage of it, you lose it, and you're on the sideline. Wade Sheedy, Jordan Pianazzola, Jared Turner, Tom Pritchard, Joel Farley, Kurt Nommensen running well at the moment after that podium last week at Silverstone, and Paul Wilson and Stephen Gallacher in there 7th and 8th. Bruce Barnes, Barry Punter, Joel and Hansen and Liam Amos take us back to 12th. It is an invert top 10 for the second race. If things were to finish as they are now, Barry Punter would hold the invert pole. We've got 8 laps to go. It's a 10-lapper here at the Hockenheimring circuit. I think the feature is set down for somewhere in the realms of 17 laps. These 10 laps will come and go very quickly. 16 minutes the journey. So they make their way through the end of the third lap. 3 down, 7 to go, 30% race distance, which means if you're going to be classified at 75%, boys, whoa, wild ride, but gathered it up quite nicely, did Kurt Nommensen in 6th spot there. What it means, Jacob, I'm going to throw to you, is that to be classified at 75%, so I'm looking at all those guys that have run into trouble early on here, and Nommensen's under real pressure now as down on the inside of him goes Paul Wilson up into 6th position. And it looks so different when it's not flooding, says David Kirby. That's a fair point too, with a view to when we were here in GT3. I'll come back to the point that I wanted to make with you, Jacob. Whoa! Wade Sheedy closing the door on Jordan Pianazzola. There was no way through there without taking to the grass. He opted against that. He tucks in behind. Sheedy defends the lead and retains it for now. But Pianazzola is throwing the kitchen sink at him. trying to unsettle him and find a way through. But already we're getting indications. So there's two things here, right? 75% race distance for anyone. Oh, in the background, Jared Turner, Tom Pritchard. Jared Turner and Tom Pritchard are in trouble in the arena section. They're plummeting down the order. Turner down into position number 11. Pritchard down to 10th. And moving on up, Barry Punter and Jolan Hansen. And at the back, Harrison Rayner in the wall. It's all happening at the Hockenheimring at the moment. 75% race distance is 7.5 laps, but you don't get classified on that. You need to complete 8 to be classified here tonight in this opening heat. That's important for those that have run into trouble already or have sustained damage. They need to only be 2 laps down at the end if they're still going to get their championship points. And how good is the low latency chat? Finally, some context to what's being said, says Restream. Hang on, that's us. Someone from our commentary box is commenting on the broadcast. There you go. I like it.
I do my best work on the keyboard, Zach. We all know that.
Thank you, Nearly. Wade chooses the leader. But see, I want to go to you on this, Jacob. Jordan Pianazzola, right? He had such difficulty trying to find a way through on Wade Sheedy just a few moments ago. But that's the point. That's Hockenheim 101 for you. Overtaking doesn't come easily, and if you are going to go for it, you need to commit to it, because any half and half sort of attempt for you know, trying to avoid words that I shouldn't be using on air at this time, any half and half sort of attempts will only bring you undone.
Oh, yeah, on a track like this, and especially with only 6 laps to go, it's full attack, attack, attack. Both of these guys fighting for high championship points, and especially being on broadcast, I'd want to win here. No, it's some really exciting stuff.
There's many things firing me up at the moment, David Kirby, but that, yeah, unfortunately, it is only 8 weeks away, and we'll be talking to our Queensland audience starting the summer of 1914-15. It'll be absolutely beautiful for them, going back in time, whilst everyone else on the eastern seaboard goes forward an hour. Queensland winds the clock back 112 years. It'll be fantastic, yes. You can tick that one off your bingo card, mate. You're welcome. Feeding me straight lines from the comment section. He's very good at that, David Kirby. He's learnt from the best, though, because Nearly goes all right at that as well. So there you go. Wade Sheedy leads. That low-hanging fruit will always win every day of the week. You know that. Wade Sheedy, Jordan Pianazzola, Joel Farley, Paul Wilson, and Curtin Olmonson holding on to the top 5 at the moment. Gallagher, Barnes, Punter, Hansen, and Turner recovering. Having got back past Pritchard, those two now arguing over who gets into the invert and who misses out. Thank you, Thorne. Someone finally gets it. Yes, that's right. 1914. We're all about to get an education of what that was all about up here in this part of the world. Someone finally gets the reference. And don't worry, I can't either, thankfully. God bless brain surgery, hey? Wade Sheedy, Jordan Pianazzola, Joel Farley, Paul Wilson, and Curtin Olmonson in the top 5 at the moment. And we will have 4 laps to go this time by the line, gentlemen. Who's impressed you so far, please, Jacob?
Well, Pianazzola, he's had a bit of an unlucky streak this week. I probably shouldn't be saying this on the broadcast. I'll get him to spin, commentator's curse. But he's definitely switching the tables now, and you know he could be looking for a race win to bring it back. I did have a few of my mates who were in here, McIntyre, Ray, all that, but they've all found the pits pretty quickly, which is disappointing to see.
Yeah, exactly. Only because, you want to see them do well, but when they're doing so, you've got an open opportunity in this commentary box to happily throw them under the bus, like all good teammates do.
Oh, well, that's why we do it.
Absolutely. Jolan looking good for P9, says Thorne Weggett. That's exactly right. In fact, when you mentioned that, Thorne, he's up 7, Paul Wilson up 6. Proof that you can make your way forward at this circuit, usually benefiting from others' misfortune or the misfortune of others to make it sound more sensible. Geez, we've become sloppy with the English language in recent years, haven't we? I blame the onset of social media. Justin Keir +9, Blake Cox +6, Kelvin Little +5. Boy, Jared Turner He was having a look at Joel Hansen for 9th to try and put Tommy Pritchard another position further back and further behind him to make it even more difficult for him to try and find his way, wrestle his way into the invert and give Tom Pritchard some more security, to give Jared Turner more security with regards to being 9th, not 10th and on the bubble. Off goes Troy Mortensen and Lee Peckham. Meanwhile, we're at the end of lap 7, 1:39.538 for Wade Sheedy, the fastest lap of the race. The biggest mover is Simon Cooper, +9 at the moment. Justin Kahir, +9 as well. No one else matching that at the moment. The big losers, Lee Peckham down 14, Harrison Rayner down 13. Shane Beaumont still sitting on pit lane. So he's committed to conceding defeat on race 1, but he'll be looking to bounce back and redeem himself in race number 2. This is a cracking scrap, boys. Pianazzola having a look on the inside, and just as I was about to ask you boys if and when he could get the job done, he only goes and does it. Down at turn 2, Pianazzola the race leader. Sheedy immediately looking to respond. Here we go, side by side. The drag race down the back straight. Sheedy tucks back in. Pianazzola does to him exactly what Sheedy did to Pianazzola a few moments ago and hugs the inside white line. Now it's a braking duel down to the hairpin. Sheedy goes deep, deep, deep. He'll get the over and under. Yeah, brilliant racecraft 101. Just a little bit off on the execution of it. Tried to set Pianazzola up, lure him into the trap. Now, will he have a look going into the arena section? No, Pianazzola defends. Closes the door, but yet again, the switchback over and under opportunity sits there for Wade Sheedy. He's unable to get through. So, Pianazzola leads. They've got 2 laps to go this time by the line. And that was slick racecraft on Jordan's behalf, Jacob.
Oh, if that doesn't get you excited, nothing will. That was riveting to see. Let's just hope he can bring it home. It's going to be very close, and Sheedy, he's not going to let him get away with that. He's going to do everything he can. There's only 2 laps left. He's going to try and get that back for sure.
And I think going back to you, Andrew Neal, his best opportunity is going to be that run down the back straight to the biggest braking zone on the circuit.
Absolutely, a nice toe in there for Sheedy.
Jared Turner's off the track. Sorry, Andrew, coming back to you. Turner's off the road. He's dropped down to 15th. He was staring down a position in the invert top 10. And he loses out to Amos, Romo, Caution Little. Costly for Jared Turner. Down 8 spots from 7th to 15th. Back to you, Neely.
Absolutely a big toe down the straight for Sheedy. We'll see if we can get him under brakes down at the end and take the nice tight line in there.
Harrison Rayner, black flag. Harrison Rayner, black flag. Is that incident points or not clearing a slowdown? Is it? I'm not sure, but whatever the case may be, he's in pit lane to serve that invoice.
I'm sure I'll hear about it.
Bad to worse, doesn't it, Jacob?
Oh, it's just an unlucky race for him today, but I've got to give him the credit. He's given it a go.
Troy Mortensen also sitting on pit road at the moment. Not sure what happened to Troy. He's been there for nearly 2 minutes. He needs to get another lap in if he's to be classified in this race. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do so. Pianazzola leads into the stadium section for the penultimate time. They're going to get back to the line. They'll see the white flag. 1 to go. Here we go. Pianazzola, Sheedy, Farley, then Wilson and Nominson, then Gallacher, Barnes, Punter, then Pritchard, Hansen, Amos and Kosh. So Amos, a second and a half off Hansen at the moment. Hansen holding the invert pole across the line. We go. White flag flies at Hockenheim. Is Barney actually on deck? Yes, he is. Oh, that's good. It's rare, but he's there. It's good. Right, we're right on board with Wade Sheedy. He'll know exactly what he needs to do to try and find a way back past Jordan Pianazzola, but Pianazzola will be aware of the presence of Sheedy and know exactly what he has to do to keep him at bay by virtue of exactly what Wade Sheedy did to him for as long as he was able to keep him at bay earlier in this race. Down the back straight we go. And I think Pianazzola's got enough to hold him off going into the hairpin section here. That slipstream is good, but he was too far back before he got the run, Wade Sheedy. He dives down the inside, but he's not there. And then he got it loose. He bubbled over the ripple strip. And that is advantage Jordan Pianazzola. He breaks clear. He's got a buffer to work with. Half a lap to go. Jordan's on his way to the checkered flag. And an overdue return to the podium. It would be his second win of the season in the Porsche Cup if he can convert it here. The man that sits third in the championship against the man leading it at the change of ends. At the turn of the season, we've finished the first half. We start the second half. We made the turn for home. And Pianazzola is going to chalk up the first win of the second half of the campaign. 3 corners from home. Off we go. Jordan Pianazzola. And the 116 IX works entry around onto the main straight. Finally, after a rubbish week across the board, Jordan Pianazzola salutes the judges. Second to Sheedy, third to Farley, fourth to Wilson, and fifth to Kurt Normanton, continuing his top 5 run. Oh, that was brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. A second top 5 finish in as many attempts for Kurt Normanton. Gallagher, then Barnes, punter, Pritchard, Hansen held off everybody else behind him for that invert pole position. He finishes 10th. Amos, Robbo, Turner, Little, McIntyre, Cox, Kahir, Bennett, and Wegener all miss out, and Kosh finishes in 20th. Back behind them. Watson on the final corner. Watson on the final corner. Timmy Watson was holding on to 21st. Now no more. Cooper comes through out of Peckham, Daniels, Craig and Watson. Kosh comes home. Actually, no. Tristan's dropped off the face of the planet. Have a look at Tristan Kosh, 9.93 laps. He's had a packet loss with the finish line in view. Or he's hit the old F4. I don't know what he's done, but Tristan Kosh has dropped off the face of the planet. Now he's come back. There he is. Packet loss. He's having packet loss. So I don't know what that means for his finishing position, but look at the Blinky Bill effect going on there. Apologies to anyone that might be susceptible to epileptic seizures, the way that's going, of course. But, oh my goodness gracious me. If I could spit out the word epileptic seizure as well, that would help. But no, Jacob, final thoughts on all of that, mate. That was really good stuff. A mix of good and bad stories coming out of that one. The guys that got caught up in trouble, they've got to at least try to salvage something out of race 2.
Oh, well, that's a good thing about a sprint race, is that no matter how bad the first race goes, there's always a second one to try and get those points back. And Neely, our good teammate here, Jordan Pianazzola, finally got the monkey off the back. The hoodoo of this week is now a distant memory.
Yeah, absolutely. He just sat in second position, made his move when it counted, and then made a bit of a gap. So good on him. Good to see him take the pole.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, I'll go around the grounds for you, ladies and gentlemen. Melbourne have defeated Hawthorn in the AFLW by 19 points, 60-41. The Roosters lead the Panthers 8-0 with 29 to play on Thursday Night Football NRL. And here it was Pianazzola from Sheedy, Farley, Wilson, Normanson. The winning margin 1.339 seconds. Back then, after Normanson to Gallagher, Barnes, punter, Pritchard, and the invert pole goes to the Wild Ride Motorsport entry of Joel and Hansen. We're going to a break. We're changing servers. Out with the Open, in with the Elite, on the other side of this short break. Stay with us, Australia. We're live, exclusive and free. Night 4, week 6, term 3. Platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Thursday Night Motorsport. Far from done. We'll have the results from race 2 of the Open split in the post-race show. Don't go away. More on that after the show. Good evening once more, everybody. Good to have your company wherever you're tuning in. We often talk about the fun that we have here in the booth on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and we talk about how much those of us that have had the pleasure of being around for the post-race show, the off-air post-race show, we often talk about how much fun we have with that here at any given time in any given week. And Mr. Miller's going to get his first education of that, I think, at the end of tonight's broadcast, and I reckon he'll be looking forward to that. Good to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world. We are live, exclusive and free on a Thursday night across Facebook and YouTube on what is an enormous week of sport and an enormous week for Australian sim racing, of course. Many of these guys competed last night in the Australian Sim Racing Group's 7th round of the Porsche Pro Series, the Mazda Racing Porsche Pro Invitational, and some of them with better fortune than others. Some of them are then going to jump into a supercar for the rest of the weekend and compete in the latest round of the True Force Enduro Cup and the Logitech G Pro Invitational Series, the Bathurst 1000 weekend for 2026. So good luck to all concerned there, the Australian Sim Racing Group and SimSpeed looking after the broadcast of all of that. Here, Scott Rankin was the points that are coming into this round, clear of Luke Page, 427.402 for Jeff Adams, the retiring Corey Lazarus. What a story that was to break last Thursday night. Although I'm a bit concerned about our audience numbers because in the last 24 hours I had both the current GSRC president and the outgoing Josh Zuno club president message me and say, what? Wait, when did this happen? Boys, it happened on your platforms last Thursday night. He gave us the exclusive. So neither one of them in the house last Thursday night, and just catching up with that news now, that was a big shock to the system. He's got his sim rig on the market. Apparently, he's already had some good offers, and I'm not surprised by that. 377 for Michael Vocci, the top 5. Benny Pedersen, apologies to you, mate. I know I've got an Instagram message to reply to from you from early hours of this morning, talking about getting his head around the Porsche 992.2 still, although I'll come back to that later on. Sam Chapman, 353. Adam Lavis, 347. Lock on Cable, 314. And Willie Blair, 304 points make up the top 10. Field of 28 lining up tonight. Cars will be on the grid now for this second race, although we don't have a grid to show you just yet. Eli Donaldson, front row. Scott Rankin, second row. Hao Ong, third row. Jaden Wilcox, fourth row. Dylan Walker, Michael Vocci, Sam Chapman, Ben Pedersen, Zach Kerr, and Raymond Mullen. The top 10 on this grid. Jonas Deggan and John Akers in behind that. 5 o'clock afternoon local server time. 13 kilometre an hour winds in a westerly direction. 24 degrees the ambient. 52% humidity. 31 degrees on track. But as you saw earlier, it is dry still, which is good news for all and sundry. There's the top 10 for you. A couple of new names in there. Good to see Zach Kerr and Raymond Mullen on the grid. In behind them on row number 6, Jonas Deggan and John Akers, row 7, Joel Janssens and Adam Lavis, row 8, Paul Wood and Michael Blades, row 9, Rodney Gollan and Willie Blair, row 10, Sean Benici. Thanks for the ad on Facebook. Strap in. It's a bumpy ride. And Bryce Young, Matt Schmidt, Greg Cook, Nick Wood, Luke Page, Jordan Dakin, Brad Keck, Lockhart, Brownlee and Jamie Fleming round out the field. We're away. And unfortunately, there is one sitting duck, Dylan Walker. He's botched the start, down 21 spots already. That's a very, very bad start for Dylan Walker. Brownlee and Fleming non-starters. Walker on the tow rope on pit road. And Ben Pedersen up into 7th spot early on, up 1 spot. Raymond Mullen up 2. And then Pedersen trying to get the tow from Chapman, who's under pressure from Vocci, who's got down his outside. And that'll be the inside when they get down to the hairpin. Scotty Rankin banging doors with Jaden Wilcox and fending off, or trying to fend off Hao Ong. Down they go. Last of the late breakers down here. 3 wide. That barely works. But they got away with it this time. Donaldson, Rankin, Wilcox. We're clean through the first half of the opening lap. It's a 16-lap race, not 17. Whoa! Rankin 3 wide goes to second on the inside of Wilcox and Ong. Retains second. Meanwhile, Eli Donaldson with the invert pole, boys. I'll go to you first, Jacob.
Oh, yeah, he's going to love seeing it 3 wide. Boys. Yeah, he's going to love seeing it 3 wide behind him. As that gap, he's already got a second, almost second and a half over the guys behind him. He'll love seeing that, and he's hoping he can run away with that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to chatting to the boys in the post-race show, particularly Scotty Rankin and Eli Donaldson. Matt Schmidtke off the road. Oh, no. We better show it. Our commentary colleague, he won't like it, but we'll have to show it. We do the same thing if it was Neely. Dylan Walker is on the tow rope still, so that's not a good start to his second race. 1:44.491 for Eli Donaldson, a second and a half to the good. Now, that's important to note because A, he got the invert pole, and B, it's a bit like when Chabo gets the invert pole in Formula V nearly. It's a free kick. It's a gift handed to him on a silver platter. He's just got to go out there and convert it now.
Absolutely, I wasn't listening.
Were you listening, Jacob? I hope someone was, please.
Oh, I don't want to start speaking at the same time as Andrew again.
I love it. How good are we going? How good are we going at the moment? Meanwhile, wide went Heo Ong. Heo Ong was wide down at the hairpin. That's dropped the Malaysian driver down into position number 9, just ahead of Jonas Deggen. He's under pressure from Deggen as they get to the kink into the arena section of the circuit now. Deggen sits 10th. So Donaldson clear. A second on Wilcox. In fact, Wilcox has trimmed some fat out of that. That's down to 1.1 now. Rankin holds down third, but importantly, as we mentioned off the top, and I haven't forgotten, folks, we didn't cover off the qualifying or race 1 results. We'll go back and do that as soon as we're done with this race for you to give you some more context for the night that is. Luke King, Classic Andrew, is he talking about you?
Yes, he is. He probably knows that I was distracted by butterflies floating past.
Right, royal drive-by on you, and a fair one at that too. Down the main straight we go. There's an on-field review for a try at the Panthers-Roosters match at the moment, folks. Updating you on the score there, Roosters 8, Panthers 0 for the moment. Meanwhile, Rankin under pressure now. Mallon down the inside. Mallon's up 6 spots already. He couldn't quite get it to 30. Couldn't quite get by Rankin, but he'll set up and have another crack down at the hairpin. That'll be for +7 if he can execute that move. And Rankin's under serious threat here because he's got enormous pressure mounting from Mallon, but also Benny Pedersen. Mallon might not have been expecting that. Pedersen down the inside, trying for 2 for the price of 1. Why not? Benny Pedersen, if you don't mind, side by side with Mallon. Rankin with the up and under the switchback. Mallon goes to 3rd. Rankin back down the inside of Pedersen. No, it's not going to work for him. So, Mallon up, Pedersen up, Rankin loses 2. Back to 50 goes Vochi Chapman, then Zach Curry's teammate, who was on the podium in the second race last night. Apologies for the spoiler alert for those of you that haven't yet gone back to watch it from Mount Panorama Bathurst. In the same way that I haven't had a chance to watch the GSRC action from last night as I was commentating the Porsches. And also, it's a bit hard to watch both this and cricket at the same time today, and that's my excuse for not catching up today in the daylight hours. Round they come. Whoa! Eli Donaldson now having to fend off Jaden Wilcox. Maybe it wasn't the free kick that we thought it would be for Eli. He's going to have to work hard for this one. The 9.5 SimSport entry at Jaden Wilcox. Oh, boy.
Wilcox is an
That's good stuff.
Wilcox, incredibly talented driver, had a bit of a breakaway, so it's really good to see him back here in the Porsche Cup League.
You're not getting itching feet sitting here with us, are you, Jacob?
Oh, I'm almost mesmerised by watching him go around. We go 3 wide into the hairpin, 3 wide on the exit of the hairpin. It's my jaw's on the floor. That's why I can't talk.
They were trying to go 4 wide in the V's at Motorsport, as you saw, and that ended predictably. Down the inside, Wilcox. Oh, the hip and shoulder, the elbows are out. There they go, they're door rubbing out of the hairpin. Donaldson still with his nose in front. Wilcox right up the inside line. If Donaldson can hang there, no, he's not going to be able to. Oh, no, he is. Big set on the inside. Big set, big set, big set. Now they're going to be worried about Mallon as well. Here comes Wilcox back down the inside. He gets him back. Might take Mallon with him. 2 for the price of 1. And Mallon's eyeing off Wilcox now, trying to get by Donaldson down the outside. That was never going to work. He got hung out to dry. Now he's got to get back into defence mode and fend off Benny Pedersen. Big set from Beto. Oh, look at that. Pedler's down the inside to get down into position number 4. 3 make it. He got by Donaldson. Rankin back there in 5th spot. Then Michael Vochi 6th. Chapo's in 7th. Then Kerr, Ong, Dagan. It's a 10-car freight train at the front of the field. The top 10 covered by 4.4 seconds, and we've got a real rip snorter on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen, on a Thursday night. Only quarter race distance, 4 down, 12 to go. Hedge your bets, boys. Who knows how this is going to play out? At the moment, odds are on for Raymond Mullen, the race 1 winner. He's +8. That means he started 10th. He finished first in Heat 1. It's an invert top 10. He's good for the double at the moment. And it's extraordinary the way in which he's been able to carve his way through this field in as short a time frame as he has. We talked about the difficulty of overtaking at the Hockenheimring a short while ago. And this bloke's gone out and made us look like idiots for suggesting it's a hard place to overtake. He's made it look rather easy, and that'll be a source of discomfort for all and sundry around him who are thinking, oh, hang on, the bar's been raised again. Who's this bloke? What's his caper? What's his game? We're now going to have to look at him as the benchmark in the absence of the likes of Corey Lazarus and Matty Dench, of which they're going to have to lift to in order to be competitive in this series. Raymond Mullen, what a star. What a night he's having. Benny Pedersen into 3rd spot. Donaldson now back into the clutches of Rankin, who's got Vocci for company, who's got Chapman, Kerr, Ong and Dagan nipping at his heels. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Luke Page up 12 spots so far and the fastest lap of the race, and he's sitting 12th. The fastest lap is held by the competitor that's sitting 12th, 1 minute 37.876. That's how razor tight this Porsche Cup field is at the moment. It is ultra competitive, and it's wonderful to see, Jacob.
Oh, if I was a gambling man, I'd be keeping my wallet closed. Anything can happen in this, 3 people within a second, one another near the top. It could go either way.
+13 now for Luke Page, down on the inside of John Akers. Oh, boy. Relentless stuff. I knew it was going to be a night in which the voice box was put under a little bit of pressure. The Formula V's did their best at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And now the Porsches are delivering an instant classic at Hockenheim. And as I said in the opener, it's a circuit that can offer up 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You can come here for a dry race and get a real stinky. You can come here for a sprint race and get a rip snorter. You can come here with, it doesn't matter whether it's a long or a short race, if you throw weather into the mix, you get an instant classic. It's one of those circuits. It doesn't always dish up the goods, but when the Porsches come here in sprint mode, like the V's at Motorsport, it's must watch. Have a look at this. That's the battle for 6th. So Vocci's gone to 7th. Zach Kerr has gone ahead of his teammate Sam Chapman, who is 8th. So the Vocci entry there for Simline Race Services is in a vermilion sandwich at the moment. And knocking on the door is Heo Ong, down 6 spots already. The pole sitter is +8. He's going to have another look at Jaden Wilcox this time through. The alarming thing now, though, boys, is that now these two have checked out. So for everybody, it's a case of catch them if you can. And the further we get into the race, the less likely they are of being able to do so. But we still have a round of splash and dash compulsory pit stops to work our way through. So there's plenty of time yet. I'll go to you, Jacob. Sorry, I forgot about that part. I got to tell everybody at home who I'm throwing to. You go, Jacob.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very interesting. It'll be fun to watch this lead fight for the rest, for the rest of the race. And they go too wide into the hairpin. He's going to stick nose in side by side through there. I think he's got him on the exit, and he'll take that for the lead.
And Wilcox back into 2nd spot now. No under the lead, and that was inevitable. You felt. It's raised the bar tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely on a streak. Up 9 positions. He's not happy with the reverse grid, and he wants to get himself back in front like he reckons he should be.
You know, it's interesting, right? Because you'll have people, and I'll come back to this more on the post-race show when we talk about the ins and outs of the likes and dislikes of the various people in this club and in the wider sim racing community. But it's interesting. I love, from a commentary standpoint, and I think from a spectator standpoint, we love the sprint racing concept where we invert the top 10 because it's a test of the skill, or rather the skill set of all and sundry here. and you work out who's got their racecraft fine-tuned to the point where they can't just, well, they don't just lead from the front. They can also, if needed, do what's required to launch attack mode, be a little bit more aggressive and work their way through the field. And he has just torn it to shreds tonight. There's no doubt about that. Wilcox second, Pedersen third. That's Chapman. Chapman down on the, no, that's Zach Kerr. Sorry, Zach Kerr on the inside of Scott Rankin. Zach Kerr on the inside of Scott Rankin. Thorne's only saying that because it worked so well for him with the invert in Formula V in race 3. He finally got a top 5 finish. I like reverse grid. Up into 4th spot in that 3rd race. Well done. Rankin into 6th spot now. So really, in this first stint, Rankin's been the unfortunate loser in all of this. He's dropped 4 spots. He's dropped to Wilcox, to Pedersen, to Mallon, to Donald, and to Kerr. He hasn't lost out to Eli Donaldson yet because Donaldson started ahead of him. So he's lost out to the other 4 though. And Kerr's next target is his teammate Eli Donaldson. And we know what Kerr can do when... oh, trouble. Jeez, Hale Long and Jonas Degen. One on the wrong side of the ripple strip and one dancing over them in an unsettled manner. It's interesting though, right? Because we look at this and we look at Zach Kerr and what he was able to do last night. He led from the front at Mount Panorama and he defended for as long as he could, 6 or 7 laps in an invert top 10 situation. He led from the front. Yeah, okay, he had a couple of safety cars to assist him along the way, but he still had to work his way through the arduous task and the pressure of a restart and everybody nipping at your heels. He did that beautifully. And he was rewarded with a podium finish for being able to see off the threats from behind for much of the race. He only lost out to 2 people, and they are the 2 men that sit on top of that championship at the moment, Zach Ratway-White and Damon Woods. That being said, you'll never hear a more dejected person that's taken a race win and is sitting second in the championship at the moment than what Zach Ratway-White was last night. And I'll get back to that a little bit later on. 1 minute 37.599. Raymond Mallon, the top of the timesheets now. So he's got the fastest lap. He's got most positions gained of anyone in the top 10. Luke Page is about to test that, though, because he's plus 13 and sitting in 11th, nipping at the heels of Jonas Degen. Raymond Mallon leads us at the moment. What is it about Kiwis and carving up in Australian sim racing or circuit racing circles? McLaughlin, Van Gisbergen, and now these blokes. From the sim world coming in and absolutely tearing it to shreds. It's great to watch. That Trans-Tasman fanfare and rivalry and camaraderie is alive and well. Mallon leads us to the end of lap 9. Oh, geez, we're at half race distance already. We're at lap 9, 7 to go. The question is, when are they coming to pit lane? It's not if, it's when. Mallon makes his way around back onto the main straight, 7 laps to go. We've already seen some guys come in, boys, but and Paul Wood's the first of those in the order in 20th. There they go now. So in comes to pit lane Hale Long and also Luke Page. So they're pulling the trigger now. They're zigging while the others are zagging. In also comes John Akers. This is what happened to Jordan Dakin. Yeah, Porsche's doing Porsche things. That'll do it every day of the week. And Brad Keck also in. If it was you out there, Jacob, and you had to make the strategy call, when would you look to go? Would you be one of those guys that pulls the trigger and goes early, runs a short stint at the start and runs long home? Would you cut it down the middle and do half and half? Or would you burn the tank completely dry and top up as little as you have to?
Oh, it's a shame. I was just about to ask you that question.
I'm not the racer. That's why I'm asking you.
I would usually be wanting to stay out for as long as possible. That just gives you the versatility to, make that decision. Someone's gone a bit wide in the back there, but it gives you that versatility. Say you got a little bit of contact and need to come in for a fast repair or anything like that. It gives you the opportunity to come in. If you fall out of the slipstream, usually I reckon it's a good idea. But yeah, I try and hold out as long as I can, and I think we might see that from the top runners.
Quite possibly so, particularly Mallon and Wilcox. Really good performance from Mallon so far. Solid effort, +9 at the Hockenheimring, and it's not lost on anybody how impressive that is. The fact that he was able to do it on a full green flag run without the assistance of a safety car to bring the field back to him, and he was able to do it within 4, 5, 6 laps. really seriously off the chart good. In comes Jonas Daggett, in comes Wiley Blair. So 9th and 10th on the racetrack at the moment. They stop now. So still a long list of people to come to pit lane. About 13 drivers, in fact. Numbers a little bit down. Only 26 starting the race, 25 running at the moment. Dylan Walker, the only retirement so far, for reasons not yet explained. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The numbers have diminished a little bit, Andrew, now, but at least they're not depleted to the point where you can count them on your 10 fingers like they were towards the end of the campaign last term.
We've got close to 30 cars. That is pretty exceptional. If we were to look at last term, we were lucky to get 5
in the elite split, and to have more than what we've got here in the open split as well. Bodes well for Porsche racing going forward, especially this deep into the season. Week 7 will take us to the Interlagos circuit. Week 8 to Imola. Week 9, we're off to the Temple of Speed, and that will be a compelling 40-minute race. And then sprint racing Road America. When are you next jumping behind the wheel, please, Mr. Miller?
Oh, well, definitely GT3s at Indy this week, but Temple of Speed, I don't want to start any rumours, but you might see me in a P Cup that week.
I like it. It's the circuit, right? So you're one of those, oh no, that's Greg Cook cooking the rear end of the car.
That's a real shame to see.
It absolutely is. You're Raymond Mallon in. Race leader on pit road into lap 11. Race leader in. And still effective race leader on corrected order. In comes Adam Lavis as well. There's Zach Kerr up into 3rd spot. Good to see another Zach that has the right spelling as well. I like that. I'm all for it. We mentioned that last night. There aren't too many ZAK Zachs out there. I'm all for it. So we've got a bonding point to Zach Kerr and I. No, straighten up and be serious. Let's highlight the fact that there are a few guys that would. So there's a lot of angst amongst the paddock. There's a lot of people that just detest this car, but they have to persevere with it and work through. Because if they want to go and compete in the officials and they want to go and compete in the big series, they need to be able to put their eggs to one side and get acquainted with this car. We've seen a lot of them put in a lot of hard work behind the scenes to try and wrap their head around it a little bit better, so that they can overcome the pogo stick element and other factors. But it's also good to see, like you, a couple of guys that will here and there just look at the calendar and think, actually, no, I'm not saying no to that circuit. I might not like the car, but I won't say no to that circuit. In comes Jaden Wilcox on that note. And there'll be a couple of others, I'm sure, thinking along the same lines as you, Jacob. Monza in a Porsche Cup car sounds like a whirl of a time.
Oh, yeah, it'll definitely be busy, but I do worry if there's a lot of people thinking the same way as me, a lot of brand new Porsche Cup drivers coming in on Monza. T1 will definitely be exciting.
Indeed, it will be. You can only hope. You can only hope it doesn't end as badly as what it did for GT3 there a few months ago. So that was the critical lap for Wilcox, Patterson, Kerr, Vocci, Blades, Young and Golan. They've all made their way to pit lane to complete their compulsory splash and dash. We've ended lap 12. We're on lap 13. Eli Donaldson leads Scott Rankin by half a second. Then back to Sam Chapman. Mallon is 4th, but to give you an indication as to how dominant he's been tonight, Andrew Neil, he is only 9.5 seconds in arrears of Chapman, and he's only 10.5 seconds in arrears of Eli Donaldson, the race leader. That's how dominant he's been tonight. This is going to be an emphatic victory and a big margin as well.
Absolutely. I think even with the fuel-saving nous of Chapman, going to be well back unless Mallon makes a mistake.
Indeed. Eli Donaldson, Scott Rankin, Sam Chapman, Raymond Mallon, Jaden Wilcox, Ben Pedersen, Zach Kerr and Wiley Blair, the top 8. Move is on. Paul Wood down on the inside. That's on Brad Keck, is it? No, John Akers. He goes through. Sorry, I've got two Woods on my screen, and I lost Paul and I picked up Nick for some reason. So Nick's down in 16th and behind John Akers, and Paul Wood's just gone in front of John Akers. So that's I had a dyslexic moment. I went the wrong way. In comes Eli Donaldson, in comes Scott Rankin, in comes Sam Chapman. You know when critical lap is lap 13, when Chapo's in, because normally he's burning that tank as far dry as he can and kicking up a stink about having to make a compulsory splash and dash in the first place. Raymond Mallon will take the lead away on his way through. He leads Jaden Wilcox by 1.6 seconds. So that's more comfortable than what it was going into the stops. Ben Pedersen, Zach Kerr, big movers in this race, +5 apiece. Eli Donaldson, Scott Rankin. Then Sam Chapman remains where he started. Wiley Blair, Luke Page up 10 and 15 apiece. The field is cleansed and we're 3 laps from home. Jaden Wilcox at 1.6 seconds. I can't help but feel as though that's a bit too far back for him to mount a challenge here in the latter stages. Jacob, I hope to be proven wrong, but I just feel as though it's a bridge too far this late in the piece, especially when Raymond Mallon, the car ahead of him, is the fastest car on the circuit, has the fastest lap, and has the clear air.
Yeah, he's been rapid all race, and Wilcox, he's going to be trying to look for DRS, mushroom, nitrous, anything to try and close that gap, just get back in the slipstream, but it's just getting bigger and bigger. And Rankin and Donaldson, I think they are going side by side through those corners. I think it's all going to come down to whoever gets the better exit. Coming into this kink is always scary going too wide. I've seen a lot of crashes, and they're going to do it well clean coming into 12. Rankin's still got the line, yeah. Rankin's still got the line. But look out. If you're Eli Donaldson, it could be 2 for the price of 1. This is remarkable stuff. Donaldson's going to hold on. Rankin got loose on the ribble strip. Now he's got to close the door on Chapman. Oh, that was beautifully done. Oh, well done. That was something to watch.
2 to go. Oh, boy. I thought Rankin was going to get that done, but what it did, and you noticed this as well, Jacob, but yes, they were able to crisscross. One was able to go inside, one was able to go outside. No problems with any of that. But it just illustrated again how difficult it can be. There's no problem getting up alongside a car and trying to execute an overtaking manoeuvre. The hardest part is consolidating it. That went on for half a lap almost. Oh, yeah, anyone can get beside a car, but it's very hard to get in front of it. As we see here, I'll let you take over, but Rankin down the inside for P5 again. The exit is critical. Donaldson's still there. No, he's in behind. And running defence on Chapman now, his teammate. Rankin's got back into the top 5, and now he goes to the inside and defends to the arena hairpin. Oh, up traffic! That was Sean Benici. He got out of the road beautifully. A lap and a half to go. Down the inside, Donaldson again, return serve on Rankin. Again, they go side by side into the stadium section. Again, Chapman might take a piece of it. He's going to go down the inside of Donaldson. Donaldson hangs tough right around the outside of Rankin. No, couldn't get it done. Rankin's going to lead that 3-way fight for 5th in the motor race to the white flag, and Raymond Mallon is there. Mallon is 11 seconds ahead of this trio. We can't take our eyes off these guys. Ben Pedersen is nipping at the heels of Zach Kerr. Keep an eye on that. The margin 0.8 at the moment. We'll go to it if it looks as though Pedersen's going to reel that in. But at the moment, we won't take our eyes off Rankin, Donaldson and Chapman. This is awesome. Down on the inside to turn 3. Rankin holding sway, but he's vulnerable here because if these boys get a good run out of 4, they can make a run for 5. And for the hairpin, I don't think they're close enough yet. They're too far back. But wait and see. Donaldson closing. It's less than 0.2 of a second. Donaldson, no, he bails out of trying to make a lunge down on the inside. Rankin tries to close the door on the exit. The up and under from Donaldson. He gets up alongside him yet again. For the 3rd lap in a row, they're going to go side by side to the arena section. Donaldson back down the inside. He's on the wrong side of the road for the left-hander. Chapman just hovering, lurking, waiting for his moment. Here they go. The Vermilion teammates are side by side. They almost make contact. Donaldson down to the inside of Rankin. Rankin holding tough around the outside. I remind you that this is for P5, ladies and gentlemen. It's not even for the win. The fighting is relentless. That was Chapman around the outside and Donaldson going into the stadium section. Chapman going to round inside to injury for Donaldson and go to 6th with the finish line in view. Donaldson's still there. Mellon takes the win from Wilcox. 1.7 the margin. Donaldson back down the inside of Chapman and then he spins around. Oh, can you believe that? Donaldson led 6th and 5th. Slip out of his fingertips. 3 corners from home. Kerr got 3rd, held off Patterson, Rankin, Chapman, Donaldson, Blair, Page and Vocci, the top 10. What a scrub that was for 5th. And unfortunately, Eli Donaldson just asked for a little bit too much of his motor car and it flick spun him. He still held on for 7th. But he only just got to the line ahead of Wiley Blair and Luke Page. What the hell? Mellon on his GSRC debut, that is true. I was going to say I don't recall calling his name here in the past 6.5 years, but what a way to arrive and dominate. He's done the double with one of the more impressive carves through the field from 10th on the grid in an invert situation that I have seen in this club's history outside of Formula V, because you can't count Formula V when you're talking about invert racing, because trying to call a Formula V race or predict a Formula V form guide, we often describe it as a lottery draw or a bingo draw. You just don't know what to expect. So some nights it's easy, some nights it's ultra difficult. But tonight, Raymond Mellon has carved up, boys. What a performance. Go to you, Jacob, for some post-race thoughts.
Oh, I can't believe that. I'm lightheaded from holding my breath. The 2 Vermilion cars just absolutely hunting down Rankin, but he didn't want it. He didn't want it. He wasn't going to let it happen. And no. That was a spectacle.
Nearly. That's one of the more impressive finishes we've seen battle-wise this season in the Porsche Cup. Oh, rode the curb and just a little bit of dirt. So he got the curb, he got the dirt, and that's what unsettled him. He was trying, he was hanging there trying to get through. So he's there on the inside. Chabo's on his outside. Don't tell me there was a little bit of hip and shoulder between the two teammates.
I think there might have been.
Can we get an aerial shot or an above car shot just so that we get a better view of Chapo in that situation nearly? Just let's have another look. Because that was the angle we took. We rode on board with Donaldson and he spun it. Let's have a look and see if we can't get a better angle of that. Just to do some post-race analysis. Welcome into the house as well, by the way. Joel and Hanson, Curtin Nominson, Jordan Pianazzola and Raymond Mellon. We'll get to you guys in just a moment. All Eli? No.
It was millimetres,
that's a fair point. Yeah, let's have a look. That's 3, 2, or a bit hard to tell from that angle, to be fair. I think you're right. And that's how we called it originally. But when you see how razor thin the margin, the gap was between those two cars, a fine line between pleasure and pain, couldn't help but ask the question. Oh, did anyone hear the scrape in the ears? Then Jordan, you heard it. Yeah. We're going to have another look at that because I reckon there was a touch just based on that sound effect that we just got. I can't help but think that there might have just been a little bit of completely unintentional for the teammates, I would imagine, and rather unfortunate. But no harm, no foul. At the end of the day, that was for 6th and 7th. And the worst it was going to be was 7th, and Eli held on to 7th. Despite this, let's have a look. Let's have a listen. There. You think so? Right. All right. Well, I'm interested to get the take of Sam Chapman or Eli Donaldson on that. Chapo's got to come in and debrief Formula V with us anyway, so we'll hear from him shortly. I appreciate the fact that Joel and Hansen and Kurt Nommensen are hanging around, and Jordan as well, because you guys were racing in the open split. We'll get to that in a moment. In fact, Jordan, I'm hoping you or Kurt still have the results there in front of you for race 2, which we'll get to in just a moment. We didn't actually get to go back and cover off the qualifying results or the race 1 results of the elite split. I'm hoping Neely might be able to do that for us in just a moment. But for the first time on the platforms of the GSRC, there were the results from the sprint feature, and Raymond Mallon at the top of the sheets. Look at this, 1.7 the margin over Jaden Wilcox, who kept him honest every step of the way. But the pit stop proved to be the difference, because Raymond came up with a little bit of a handier margin than what he had going in. It was only by a couple of tenths here and there, but he still had enough breathing space to carry on with it and finish the job that he started so beautifully. The outset of that second race. Zach Kerr, second night in a row that he's gone third in the feature. He did that last night at Mount Panorama. Benny Pedersen will hopefully be feeling a little bit happier about life than what he was this time last night with fourth. Then Scotty Rankin, Sam Chapman, Eli Donaldson, Wiley Blair. Then Luke Page and Michael Vocci, the top 10. Geez, you talk about being out of breath, Jacob. That really, we've earned our keep tonight. We've worked hard for our money. There's no doubt about that. My goodness, what a night we've had. 5 races, exhilarating stuff from first until last. And nice to see my mate Jordan Pianazzola finally break the hoodoo of what's been a pretty ugly week results-wise up until tonight. So, and it wasn't looking much better after Formula V, but he turned it around very nicely in the sprint, and then went out and did the double in the feature. So there you have it. So hang on, let's have a look at that again, Nearly. Freeze it there, thank you. Just, yep, that's perfect. So the top 10 down to Luke Vegeta. So Pianazzola, Hansen. So that explains the presence of Joel. And good evening to you. Joel Farley, Paul Wilson, Wade Sheedy only got back to 5th in the end. Jacob McIntyre, Stephen Gallacher, Tyler Craig, Barry Punter, Luke Vegeta, Kurt Nommensen in 11th, which is unfortunate for you, because I thought once you'd got on a run of bagging top 5 finishes, you might have been able to continue that, Kurt. That wasn't to be. We'll hear from you in a moment. But Jordan's gone out and done the double. Well, there you go. So we had 3 different winners in Formula V. And we still have 2 different winners in the Porsche Cup, but we normally aim for 2 different winners in each split on a sprint night across the night. But Ray and Jordan have had other ideas. They've been a little bit greedy with it and gone out and bagged the double in each of their respective splits. So there you go. 5 different winners out of 7 races tonight for the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Very nicely done. On that note, Raymond, good evening to you. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, he's very lucky that he's the only Ray/Raymond that I'm aware of in the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, because as he slid into the booth here, there's no Mond. It's just Ray. Hello, mate. Nice to have you here. Well done. You've come in. You've carved up. What do you make of the night that was, and also slicing and dicing your way through the field with what looked like absolute consummate ease through the first 4 laps of the feature race there, please? Have we got you, Ray? You might need the push to talk, mate. If you haven't got that activated, we might get you to set up a push to talk there, and then just let us know when you're online, and we'll do a sound check, and we'll get back to you.
Can you hear me?
There we go. So lights are on, somebody's home. Beautiful. Hello, mate. Good to have you here. Well done on the double. We'll get the Raymond Mallon background story in just a moment, because as the guys have pointed out, first night here and arriving and dominating. So all of a sudden you're now the new benchmark in Porsche Cup racing on the platforms of the GSRC. But talk us through that, because it looked like a hell of a lot of fun. And as I said, it was one of the more impressive carves through the field from 10th to 1st that I've seen in a Porsche Cup race, considering that the Hockenheimring is not known as one of the circuits in the world that lends itself to easy overtaking opportunities. It's a circuit where you have to work for them, and work you did, and then you went out and held off the onslaught pressure that Jaden Wilcox was throwing at you, mate. It was a nice double for you.
Yeah, no, it was good. Just trying to really focus on cutting up and getting through the pack as fast as I can, really. Managed to get some clean air maybe halfway through the first 5 laps, and really just put the hammer down, to be honest.
And chalk and cheese, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously Just 1 second. We've lost someone from the booth already. I'm not even... Jordan's on his way out. He'll hopefully come back. I'm holding him to that. Chapo's still here. Eli's still here. They've arrived. They must have heard us talking about them, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder why. They're here, ready to rock and roll as well. So we'll get to the Vermilion boys shortly. Jordan, we want you back at some point. You're probably off to have supper or something, and you know how long these post-race shows normally drag on for. So we'll hear from you very shortly over there in the City of Churches. Give us the Raymond Mallon background story, please, with regards to the sim racing, because, I mean, you're clearly not new to the caper when you come in and dominate like that.
No, I've been around a little bit. Kind of started taking the sim racing a little bit more seriously as of this year with Momentum Racing with JV. Did a bit of OSR, did quite well on that. I think got second at the 12-hour Bathurst, and then, yeah, just really trying to step the old Porsche Cup level up a bit.
And that's interesting, right? Because obviously Porsche racing at the forefront of a lot of people's minds at the moment with Benny Pedersen. How come we can get 3 wide down? He's still filthy about not being able to get 3 wide around the mountain last night in the ASRG Porsche, I think. But yes, you can get down there 3 wide. Yeah, and you did it beautifully tonight, Benny. And well done on 4th as well. Feel free to stop by for a chat if you want. But it's interesting, Raymond. There's a lot of attention and focus on Porsche racing at the moment, I want to say, because we've got the Australian Sim Racing Group Porsche Pro Invitational Series, which you've no doubt stumbled across at some point in time. So what we've found is that a few of the guys are using this as a bit of a training ground, this series, to hone their skills, get some seat time in the car, go and get ready for their next round of the Porsche Cup Invitational Series. From your standpoint, I want to know, apart from Dylan Walker, who else alerted your attention to who we are and what we do, please?
Jackson Russ. He was the one who's kind of put me on, saying that I should definitely have a crack, and here I am. I also know Tom Bewley, who's done Silverstone, I think, last weekend, so he was saying that was a bit of fun that I should definitely indulge in. So I've come and had a crack and love it. We'll be back next week.
Very nicely done. And how are you finding? I don't know if the boys caught the post-race show last night, but in the Porsche Pro Invitational, but Zach White, who is second in the championship and carved up the feature race. I've never heard a bloke sound and look more dejected than what he was last night. And where are we time-wise? 9:52, so good. We're past 7:30 on the West Coast, so I can use the word that I want to use. He described the car last night, the 992.2. He described it as, and I quote, a bag of dicks, right? His wording, not mine. How are you finding the true story? Go back and find it on YouTube. It was startling at the time because I really wasn't expecting it to be described that abruptly in that way. But from your standpoint, there seems to be a lot of disdain for the 992.2 across the board. How are you finding the car from your own personal standpoint? Because whilst it might look like you've got the I's dotted and the T's crossed, that doesn't necessarily mean that you enjoy the car, but you've found a way to make it work.
Yeah, it's definitely a bag of fun sticks. I'd have to say that with an open heart. It's definitely very unique. There's not a lot, to be honest, like it. I know I definitely enjoyed the previous vehicle. I had quite a lot of fun on that, so it was definitely a bit of a change coming into ABS. So I have my mixed emotions about it, but at the end of the day, it's the car, and you can't really change it. So I enjoy it.
Well, it's interesting to get your take on that, and obviously we've spoken to Eli about it. We've spoken to Chapo about it. I'll be interested to get Joel and Hanson's thoughts as well. But it's amazing, isn't it, the way in which, I mean, obviously, normally, right, if we don't like something, we'll put it in the too hard basket, we'll turn our nose up at it. I feel as though the entire sim racing sector that takes an interest in Porsche racing at the moment is doing themselves a disservice because they know what they're signing up for. They know how frustrating it can be and how soul-sucking it can be on some occasions, and yet you continue to punish yourselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, at the end of the day, the car's the car, so if you don't want to drive it, then I don't drive it. I drive it because I have fun with my mates, me and my mates do it, so, yeah.
Very nicely done. I'll be interested to get Scotty Rankin's thoughts if he stops by at any point. If not, I'll have a chat with him on Sunday because I'm jumping into the booth to work alongside him and Sam Mann for the Supercar 1000 over there on the ASRG platforms. More on that a little bit later. But continuing with you, you mentioned it there earlier. We're probably likely to see you around here on a more regular basis. There'll be a couple of people that'll be hearing that and they'll be feeling a little bit disheartened at this particular point in time, the way in which you've come in here and tailed up tonight. But really, that was, you couldn't have asked for a better run through the field. I'm sure you've had instances where those invert situations haven't gone as smoothly as that, Ray.
No, definitely not. I mean, going through the field is probably one of the hardest things you can do. So I just really found the room and had a few interesting moments, probably a couple doors that I probably shouldn't have been in. But apart from that, I just really just trying to focus to get at the front. That's kind of what my mindset was for that.
All right, very nicely done. You mentioned the Momentum Racing stable. They're going gangbusters at the moment. When you're not racing Porsches, mate, what are we going to see you popping up and having a steer of?
I think Dylan Walker's asked me to give him a hand in some of the supercar stuff, so we might have a bit of a dip in that, see how that goes. But yeah, apart from that, mainly Porsche Cup, yeah.
When you say give him a hand, is he looking to you for guidance with regards to how to steer the thing or how to set them up?
Oh, more as a co-driver and just a bit of a second opinion, to be honest, because I know he's definitely got the he's definitely found the bag of fun sticks for that thing. So yeah, just any support that he needs, to be honest, I'm there for, really.
It's funny though, because as much as we can sit here and bag it, right? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, yeah?
Oh, 100%. It's definitely not easy sim racing at the highest level.
Obviously, it's an interesting proposition for you, right? Because you arrive here on the back of the announcement that Corey Lazarus, one of the Porsche racing stalwarts, has sold his sim rig and is moving on to greener pastures in life. Work and lifestyle changes for him have meant that something's had to give. That something is his side hustle, which has been a remarkably successful stint in sim racing circles. So you arrive straight hot off the back of that news, and we've all of a sudden got a new benchmark to look at with a performance like that tonight. Can you continue this form where you've come in and just carved up the evening when we get to the Interlagos circuit in Brazil next week?
I think laps are your best friend at this point. I know Porsche Cup officials currently here at the moment, so I've been doing a bit of that, and then yeah, kind of just staying consistent is a good thing as well. That's one thing I always try and work on.
After that, Imola for sprint racing, Monza for a 40-minute race, and then Super Sprint 3-race format at Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin, the famed Road America, to close out the season. What do you like? What don't you like about those tracks that I've just mentioned?
I love all of them, to be honest. We'll give Interlagos a go. Might have to go ahead and buy that soon. But yeah, give them all a crack.
Wait. What? You haven't brought Interlagos yet?
Nah, not yet, no.
Oh, wow. Okay, righto. That'll be an interesting story to follow now. To see how quickly, I mean, it's a circuit you're obviously familiar with if you've ever watched a Formula One Grand Prix or a World Endurance race around there, but it'll be interesting to see how quickly you get up to speed at that circuit. If it's anything like what you put on the table tonight here at the Hockenheimring, I don't think it'll be terribly long between purchasing it and being somewhere in the realm of on the pace. But let me ask you this, right, because normally, this point of the season, we're talking about championship contenders and championship contenders and pretenders, right? So from your standpoint, you've waltzed in halfway through the season. No hope of factoring in the championship fight at the top end of the summit. However, you are in an enviable position, but also a thorn in the side of some people's position, in the sense that you can be a mover and shaker. So you can be a round by round contender, and you can be somebody that doesn't necessarily make the championship, but you can certainly determine how it might play out for somebody else just by taking vital championship points away from would-be title contenders. From your personal personal standpoint, though, you're probably not thinking about the impact that it has on the other guys around you. You're probably more thinking about how therapeutic, for lack of better words, how much less stressful it can be arriving here halfway through the season, knowing that you've only got to focus on each event as a singular rather than having to think about the bigger picture of a 10-week campaign.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, coming in halfway through the championship, yes, you could say, is not really in my sights. It's more just about those feature wins. That's what I'll be aiming for. So yeah, just really focusing on each round is probably the best thing that I'm going to try and do, to be honest, and whatever happens, to be fair. That
was the move on Jaden Wilcox to take the lead away, and did not muck around at all. Up the ante and went all out attack and got there within about 5 laps. It was a masterful piece of carving through the field on your part. Let me ask you this, though. So obviously, you're going to be a regular for the next 4 weeks. That's great for us, because that gives us something to keep an eye on and something you look forward to. But are the next 4 weeks with a view to coming back and mounting a championship attack or assault or campaign, whatever you want to call it, for next term? Can we expect you to be a 10-week full-term competitor when we get to term 4?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from the way this weekend's, this day's gone, I should say, it's quite fun. I mean, the racing it's very like high tier. I mean, like I wasn't mucking around. Definitely had my racing undies on today. So yeah, from tonight, yeah, it's definitely something that I'll be around for more.
And really, Jaden Wilcox kept you really honest there. You couldn't have afforded one little slip up because he was there ready to pounce.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely kept me on my toes all night. Always seen him in the mirror. I think I saw a couple headlight flashes every now and then. Definitely keeping me on my toes. But that's the type of racing I'm looking for, to be honest. So yeah, definitely see me around more.
All right, very nicely done. Now Thorne's throwing the bait that normally only Will Buchanan would throw. So I'm just going to open up my Facebook feed here and see if there is somebody celebrating a birthday. Well, yeah, I was going to say if it's in here, it's not in my Facebook friends list, so it's someone in the club that I am not on Facebook with. Is it your birthday, Mr. Mallon?
No, my birthday was a couple months ago, actually.
So Miller's throwing bait. Again, that's not surprising. They've all taken up bad habits from Buchanan. Neely, do you want to enlighten everybody on what you know that I don't? Hey, there we go. Oh, congratulations to Luke from all of us at the club. Absolutely. He'll never know what free time is like ever again for the next 18 years at least. He'll never know what peace and quiet is for the next 18 years. I said to my sister recently, so many of you know my youngest sister, I've got 2 younger sisters, the littlest one, the bub of the family, 31 years old and about to have bub number 1 of her own. And Jonas Deggan is saying it's his birthday. I'm sure someone's actually going to come to the table and tell us if there is an actual birthday, not a birth as such, an actual, aging process being completed somewhere within the club, and it'll actually be legitimate one day. I know David Kirby had his a couple of weeks ago. Now, just going back to, oh God, I've lost the train of thought now. This is what these idiots do to me. When we're talking about, yes, I was talking about my little sister. I was talking about free time and all that sort of stuff. I said to her a couple of weeks ago, because she just she got to that point of the pregnancy. She's into the 3rd trimester, and she's finally had a gut full with the whole thing. She said, "I just want it here already. I just want him here." I'm like, don't wish away the next 12 weeks, because that's then the next 18 years of your life, right? That's your sentence. That's the amount of time that you've got to be a parent for until they reach adulthood, and then you can say, right, do whatever you please. I said, don't wish away the next 12 weeks or whatever it was of solitude, because you won't know what that's like afterwards for the next 18 years. So I don't know if she liked hearing that or not, but reality is that's true. Anyway, let's straighten up here. Let's go back to you, Ray. The interesting thing with all of this is that we've got a tantalising championship unfolding at the pointy end. No doubt these guys are going to be eyeing you off at the moment and sussing out what you bring to the table and thinking, well, hang on, we've got to pull our socks up if we're going to try and compete with this bloke come next term. Is that a good position for you to be in, or do you feel the pressure that comes with being the new benchmark for everybody to aim towards?
I think it's good. I think it'll keep me on my toes. I'm always aiming to find some more time. So yeah, I guess that means the racing will be fun and enjoyable. So yeah, I mean, there's no big pressure with it really.
All right, very nicely done. Hey, congratulations. Magnificent double. A sweep of the night. What a way to arrive on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And we're looking forward to more of that in the weeks to come. We're looking forward to seeing exactly. The one interesting thing out of all of this is you can afford to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the next 4 weeks. And it'll be interesting to see how far up the table you climb, given that you've given the rest of the field a half a term start. So watch this space and see where this bloke finishes after only competing in half the championship, folks. That will be fascinating. Who would you like to thank before I let you go, Ray?
Just massive thanks to Momentum Racing, JV. All the work he does behind the scenes, he does a lot. Very grateful for that. And yeah, just grateful for my teammates, Dylan, coming in. Gave him a bit of a hand. He was keen to have a skid, so yeah.
All right, very nicely done. Congratulations to you, mate. Actually, what did happen to Dylan there at the start of race 2, please?
I'm actually unsure on that. We were in the same voice call, so I think he got a bit unlucky off the start. I know he's having some clutch issues, and I think his downshift just managed to unwind itself. So yeah, I think some issues.
A technical issue. Another one this term. When will they end? My goodness. Hopefully we can get that sorted for next week. Hopefully we'll see more of you at the pointy end of the field, ripping and tearing and doing what you do so well, because that was phenomenal tonight. I was very impressed with the... we speak about the difficulty of overtaking around this circuit, and you went out there and made us all look like idiots because you made it look easy. So well done, and we look forward to catching up with you this time next week.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
There he is. Raymond Mallon. Remember that name, ladies and gentlemen. 780, right? I dare say a future GSRC Porsche Cup champion. Right, let's work around the room. Kurt Nomenson's here. Eli Donaldson's here. Jacob Miller's here. Joel Hansen's here. Jordan Pianazzola's here. And Sam Chapman as well. Chapo, did you close the door on Eli?
Oh, I could have.
He did not leave it a space.
I did not leave it a space.
Oh, Christ. That was an epic scrap between you two and Scotty Rankin there towards the end. We'll talk about that in a few moments' time. Kurt, educate me on how everything went in race 2 of the Porsche Cup from your standpoint, please, in the open split. We've seen the results. We've seen that you were 11th. I mean, great top 5 finish, great charge in race 1. Where did it go wrong in race 2, please?
Contact with someone else. I'm just going to leave it at that. I won't throw anything under the bus, but
no, go on. This is where we are our dirty laundry, isn't it?
Yeah, no. This is.
Okay.
We didn't have race control, so I need to leave that to race control before I start making comments. But yeah, ended up, that was lap 3, so I ended up near the back around like 28th or so, and then drove myself back up. So I'm pretty happy with the recovery, all things considered. Looking at that pace, it definitely could have been another top 5 or potential podium. But yeah, I'll take an 11th place after being backwards in the gravel on lap 3.
All right, very nicely done. I mean, rather unfortunate that it has to happen that way, but at least you're able to salvage some ground and redeem yourself as the night wore on. I'm interested in getting your thoughts on the first race, though, because, again, good pace. No mixed weather situation to assist you this week, but to get top 5 for the second week in a row, your second top 5 finish of the season, it felt as though you were starting to build some momentum, mate.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to build up some momentum. I think if I didn't have that little wiggle coming onto the front straight, I probably could have had a podium there, because I don't know if Paul would have got me because we're pretty even on pace. But other than that, yeah, it was good pace, good momentum, and it's a good swing coming in towards next week, knowing that even if I do have a little mishap early on in the race, I can still recover back up the field and get back near the front where I feel like my pace is at the moment.
Which is more difficult for you, mastering Silverstone or mastering Hockenheim?
Probably Hockenheim, because the set that I had just wanted to rotate the back very, very aggressively on power. So it was a bit of a juggling act to keep the tyres in one piece. And I don't know how I managed to do it in the first race, but we kept it together and didn't end up backwards. So that's a positive.
That is absolutely a positive. Righto, let's turn the tables on. I mean, how talk to me about trying to work your way back through and recover ground lost with that early incident in race 2. Because, as we said, we saw Raymond do wonderful things here in the way in which he was able to work his way through the field in the elite split. But he's clearly pretty switched on in this caper. It isn't the easiest circuit to overtake on. We've noted that the boys in the battle for 5th illustrated just how difficult it is. You can run side by side for half a lap and still end up where you started. Just how difficult did you find that, or did you actually have a bit of good fortune come your way in terms of trying to recover?
I think I just had the outright pace on the guys I was around for the most part, so I was able to make the moves pretty assertively, especially coming into like the hairpin and things like that. I was able to just get the car where I wanted and get around where I needed to be. But yeah, it was definitely not easy to set up the pass, but once I was there, I was able to get the car through and make the pass pretty cleanly.
All right, copy that. I've just had some intel there from Benny Patterson. Mate, I've got your message and I'll reply to you once we get off air. Suffice to say that Benny's happy with the result tonight, but he knows that there's more to give. So watch this space with regards to what Benny Patterson might be able to bring to the table in the weeks to come. And hopefully we'll have a chat with him on air in the next couple of weeks as well. The 404 on track and it not being Corey feels like a funeral procession. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. That is going to feel really weird for the next short while. The fact that Corey Lazarus has been a stalwart of the club, and we're not going to see him out here anymore. But good luck to whoever buys. No, I don't think he was 404. I think he wasn't he 44? Yeah, I'm just going to confirm it with my run sheet here.
I only remember him as number 1.
044, and yeah, that's right, number 1. 044, not 404. So Benny's got a bit dyslexic there, and I've led him astray because I followed straight in his lead. I was just reading off the screen. 044, and before that, yes, 11111. But it's interesting, right? Because we've got a real different landscape now. It's constantly changing and evolving. People come and go all the time, but his departure caught us all off guard. We weren't expecting that. I know that the rig's on the market. I believe he's had a couple of genuine offers come through, so it could already be been gone, come and went, sold and done. And whoever inherits that, good luck, because you've got some really good bloody infrastructure to work with to try and emulate the achievements of one K Lazarus. Very, very good. We'll let you two work out your number bingo a little bit later on. Now, where was I? I was talking to you, wasn't I, Kurt? Is that where I was up to?
Yes.
Yeah, thank Christ. Someone knows where we're going tonight, because I don't. Talk to me about next week. Interlagos, can you get this thing back on track? I mean, when we look at the point situation, as we said, you gave the field a bit of a head start. That's not ideal, but you've been turning it around with some okay results. So next week, drop rounds come into the equation, and this matters for you championship contenders, not the Johnny-come-latelys like Raymond. This matters for you guys. Drop rounds come into the equation next week. How key is Interlagos?
It's going to be pretty key, considering that, I've already got the 2 DNRs at the start of the season because of work, so it's going to be very important that I start getting the good results and start racking them up in the last few weeks of the season, and hopefully I can not get caught out by the reverse grid again.
Yep, so 404 for the benefit of anyone playing along at home. Neely's onto it before any of us, so 404 Jonas Deggan right there. There you go, on your screen now. Just to answer Benny's question and Thorne's question and Miller's question and whoever else was talking about number bingo. Excellent, very good. We genuinely could... Right, Zach bingo's a thing around here, but we genuinely could play number bingo as well, quite frankly. We've got that many of them. What else is on the agenda between now and next Thursday? Kurt, I know work gets in the way a little bit.
We're just going to have to wait and see. I haven't double checked about Monday, so not sure if I'll be on track for the GT3s. I think I will be, but it's not the main focus anymore. I was switching back to the Porsche Cup because I've had a bit of a bad run with work getting in the way of the GT3 running. So it's just going to be focusing on the ones that I can turn up to for P Cup.
Let me ask you this, because very similar situation to Raymond. You've got the Porsche Championship campaign to think about, but do you enjoy those situations where you can jump in and have a steer of something that you're not in the championship regularly contending or competing with or for, and therefore, you can take it as just a one-night only sort of proposition?
Yeah, it is. Like this week at Le Mans, I just had, a bit of bad luck and just went, right, well, I'm not in the championship. I'm just going to pull the pin and go focus on the Porsche Cup instead.
Yeah, that's fair. It must have been nice to arrive at the Hockenheimring and know that the weather wasn't going to play silly buggers, though. Yeah,
it definitely was. And it's nice knowing that even my set that I'm pretty sure from this race last season still worked pretty well, and it was still very, very competitive. So we'll take that and run with it.
All right, very nicely done. Good to catch up with you, mate. Thanks for stopping on by for a chat. We appreciate you hanging around for a little bit of extra time tonight, because obviously you guys were done about 5 minutes before we were, because we had that space between the two servers to allow for Andrew and I to be able to get from your race 1 to these guys' race 2. That'll be the same proposition for the next 2 weeks. Good to have a back-to-back run of sprint racing on the agenda. Thank you for stopping by, mate. Go well. Who would you like to thank? That's you, Kurt. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, sorry, my button stopped working for a sec.
Oh, right, yes.
I just want to thank all the guys at RER and our sponsors, AITX, Shieldcoat, Sudspeed, Chelsea Clean, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Shore by 4, and Slady's Glossworks.
Very nicely done. And hopefully the button cooperating far better next week for you as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Finger on the pulse, actually.
That's it. Well, now I can go to work.
Go and enjoy that, buddy. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks, Zach.
Oh, dear. Very nicely done. Never a dull moment on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, ladies and gentlemen. And the continuation of an enormous week. Very long day for those of us that have been up since 9:30 a.m. to sink our teeth into the first bit of the cricket for the summer. The Australians on the back foot at the moment. Bangladesh taking on us on day one. 1 for 98 there at stumps. 9 wickets in hand. Sorry, 1 for 96 at stumps. 9 wickets in hand, and only trailing Australia by 102. And I must admit, cricket runs a very close second to motorsport in terms of my priorities in life. So I was keeping one eye on that whilst also preparing for this afternoon. I'm not going to lie. Coverage continues tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So by the time we get back here tomorrow night, I think I'll be looking forward to a little bit more sleep straight after the broadcast, it's fair to say. Burning the candle at both ends this week, but it's Bathurst week, so we wouldn't have it any other way. Let's go around the room. Hey, Jordan Pianazzola, well done. What a nice way to end what's otherwise been a something of a week.
Yeah, it's one hell of a week, and I'm glad I was able to return it with a double. But there's still more racing tomorrow. You can't forget that one, Zach.
Well, that's true, but I mean, let's be honest. I just thought it was just going to be one of those weeks that you put an entire line through. By the time we got through Formula V, because you had more bad luck there in one night than you've had all season in the V's.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I was feeling alright originally in race one. I was like, you know what, I might actually be okay to get some points this weekend. Like I felt like I, fumbled some points in the last couple of rounds, and then turned on my lid, not even taken out for dinner first, which sucked. And then race two was another moment of chaos when those other guys decided to do their crashing, and unfortunately just got involved in that one. And then race three, I stood on my own stuff between my legs.
Yep. I was going to say, not even asked first, just taken, escorted straight out. However, how much fun's that going to be for you next Wednesday night when you, me, and Harry Dan Brinker are here in the commentary box here on Wednesday night?
I'll be able to rip into him and see if he can give me some spots back in the next races coming up. I thought he was going to do that in one of the other races, and then one of his teammates was getting involved in the battle. I'm like, no, right. Go away. I want Harrison to give me the position. If your teammate's here, he's not going to give me a spot.
No, and don't worry, we're waiting for round two, because race three, it looked as though the gloves were off and you guys were flirting with the potential danger that would have potentially followed had you made contact once more. You were treading a very fine line, let's put it that way.
Oh, I mean, I can't play too much of a game with him. I've only got 3 safety license points in the V, and if I still want to try and hold in the championship, I got to hold on to those points more than the actual championship points.
That's very true. You probably should. Watch the P's and Q's. Otherwise, you'll be in here commentating Formula V with me on a Thursday night. Yeah. I wouldn't wish that on you. You don't need to be going then to race the Porsches with a headache. So let's talk Porsches. Formula V to one side. How quickly, how difficult is that to put the absolute frustration of that SH1T show to one side and then focus on the Porsches? Because really, you've gone out there and turned everything around with some really good racecraft in race one. We followed the battle. That was a cracker between you and Wade Sheedy.
I loved it, but it's turning that table over to have a clean slate is so hard. I had to walk outside, have a smoke, and reset, and then I came back, and a couple of my mates had joined the Discord call, and they started blabbering around. And I was like, nah, I can't do this. I got to deafen you guys, otherwise I'm gonna yell at my mates, and they're not gonna like me after tonight otherwise. So I had to deafen myself and keep them out of my ears. But it was just try and just focus, lock in, and that's exactly what happened. I qualified P3, which was pretty good. I did some practice last night, which helped. Especially when you do the V's before, you don't have a lot of time beforehand. So I did some last night, felt all right, got through quali in third, and then race one, it was just hunt Sheedy down, and that was great fun. And race two, it was the same. He had a better start. He got up through some of the pack earlier. I was still stuck in the bottom 10 when he was already up in 5th or 6th. And when we came for the pit stop at the end, I was, I think, 3 seconds back. So entering the stop, I was like, it's all or nothing entering the pit lane here. I got to send it. And I didn't practice that at all last night, which is probably a mistake on me. But I nailed it here tonight, which worked fantastic, because when we exited, I was about a second or just over a second behind. And with the 4 laps to go, I was like, yep, the pressure is on him. I've just gained 2 seconds in the pit stop. He's thinking, OS. So I just tried catching up. I pressed the headlight button, a couple of times. I'm not going to hold it down and annoy people. But I did want to just, hey, I'm applying pressure. And he just fumbled on the last lap at turn 6, and it gave me the opportunity, and I dived him magnificently down into 8, and we had a great little side-by-side up until, 12 or 13, and unfortunately he just spun it trying to get underneath me on the curb, and it just left me to go for the win there. But it was all on the last lap that I got it, so the pressure was on for both of us to get that, and to get the double was that made my night for sure. After Formula V, I can forget completely about that.
well, you haven't yet.
Oh no, but I should. No. I have to forget about it with how horrible it went. I can't though with how upside down I went. That's a memory and a half.
Oh, and we saw that live as well and replayed it. So
I gotta watch that back.
It lives on the YouTube channel forever today. The interesting thing in all of that. you're talking about how yours only come down to the final lap. So very different to what we had here, where Raymond's come through and carved everybody up and gone from 10th to first in about 4.5 laps, right? From your standpoint, actually, here we go. Mr. Michael Blades. I was pumped with that move on Adam on the last lap. Followed him all race, and very nicely done as well, mate. Congratulations. We're seeing you on replay at the moment here, and I hope you're enjoying watching that back. But yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, Jordan? Because obviously your race played out very differently to Raymond's. You had to really work hard for it. Not lost on you that these invert situations, they can go either way.
It's always going to be difficult in an invert. Doesn't matter what you're in, the V's, supercars, or even these, the P-Cups. But it was just, try to keep it settled. Other people will make a couple of mistakes. The curbs can bite around here, which is, one of those things which you got to be careful about. And it was just try and keep it steady. But yeah, Sheedy had the advantage early on, and I just had to kind of put that foot down and just try and work through. I did think about trying to maybe do an early stop, especially once he caught up to the front guys. But as soon as he caught them, like he'd catch him in the last sector, and then they would go into the pits. So he would have clean air, and then it would happen the next lap and the next lap. And I was like, okay, well he's not getting slowed down here. I can't try and undercut him. I just have to keep that foot down and just try. And it was hard, but no, it was fun. I loved every moment there with Sheedy. He probably deserved a win tonight. I thought he had it in the first race. I'd seen him in one of the practice sessions last night. I do think that he probably did deserve a win tonight, and I feel bad stealing both of them from him. But I mean, I'm still going to be happy about it.
Next week, how do you convert this form and turn it into something of a rhythm and momentum when we get to Interlagos, please?
Interlagos, it's a circuit for sure. I do struggle around there. I do like it, but I mean, I'll have to see once what the standings are like once they get all updated and continue to try pushing. I felt like I gave it up at Silverstone, and I could have probably had 3 in a row if I hadn't have fumbled that one. So. And I think the push is on for the P-Cup Championship. So, yeah, we'll see at least after that and what those final 3 are like. But I'm keen for Interlagos. I do somewhat struggle around there, but at least there's no crazy curbs like Hockenheim.
No, that is very, very true. Let's talk about a couple of other things here, right? So before we get there, you've got to turn things around in the GT3s after a bit of a rough run around Le Mans in the Audi on Monday night, and that one probably stung worse than any of the others because you're in the championship lead there going into that round. How do you turn that around when we get to the Indy Road course on Monday night, please?
By doing practice once I'm done talking to you.
Yeah.
that's literally what it is. I've already spoken to some mates and I'm like, hey, Indy's next week. Can we do practice on that? I did some practice at Le Mans, but I was behind my teammate at one moment and on lap 2, I think it was, and I just couldn't see anything behind his Mustang, and I just got in the grass, looped myself, and that was that. Otherwise, there probably could have been a top 10 on for that one, but I don't want to use the word hate, but I'm slightly annoyed that the Enduro give more points, because that was probably my worst overall result, but it's not my worst on points, which absolutely sucks for me in the championship. So I'm gutted about that one, but yeah, I'll look forward to Indy. I remember doing the 8-hour there last year, and that was all right. So as long as there's no rain, I should be good.
As long as there's no rain.
Rain at the 8-hour last year did not go well for me.
That's the big unknown entity in all of that. We'll look forward to Monday night regardless. More directly, immediately. Sorry, I've just hit an absolute roadblock with my word vocabulary. More immediately, GT1 tomorrow night, Alton Park, and then IndyCar from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So at least it's not Motorsport, I guess. So no bad memories carry over. Hopefully, a better run in the IndyCar at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for you.
Yeah, I mean, Montreal is probably one of my favourite tracks on the F1 calendar. And obviously with an IndyCar being... well, sorry, what were you going to say?
Mine too. Montreal is one of my favourites too.
Oh,
Carry on.
Yes, I love that. But no, I think it's a great circuit, and obviously, yeah, because the IndyCars are sort of ish similar to an F1. Just pace wise, they're one of the faster cars in iRacing, so it'll be fun. I'm not the best at massive downforce high speed cars like that. I'm better in like an F4 or something like that, but no, I think I'll enjoy it. It's better than Motorsport. I've had a couple of rough times around Motorsport in a couple of different leagues, and tonight just added to it, so it just added to my disgruntledness around that track a bit more, but oh well. But then GT1's at Alton Park. It's a tight circuit, Alton, but 2 races as well, so we'll see what happens there.
Can I just say what an absolute disgrace that post was from the IndyCar series this morning. I wasn't happy with that. They you wake up and they say, oh, here's phase 1 of our 2027 calendar. But let me tell you this, right? They've only given us 25% new information in all of that. Like one big post, 8 dates, but only 2 weren't known already. So we knew St. Petersburg because the trucks had confirmed that they were going there. St. Petersburg had confirmed their date. IndyCar had already confirmed Darlington. I'm pretty sure Phoenix had already been confirmed as well. Barber hadn't been confirmed because that was the new bit of information. Long Beach had been confirmed because of the confirmation of the IMSA calendar. Indy, well, when the 500's the 30th, you take 15 days off that, you get the date for the road course race. So we knew those 2 already because it's always the last Sunday in May that leads into their Memorial Day Monday. And then Detroit we knew again because of the IMSA calendar. So actually, really, I say they've only given us 25% new information, but really I could argue that it's 12.5%. So I don't understand the point of that post, especially when there's another 9 to 10 dates that are going to be released at some point in time that at the moment are to be confirmed. I just feel as though that was a way for them to try and wedge their way in to get some traffic that NASCAR is currently carving up because they are releasing information that people aren't already aware of with regards to their calendars for next season. Do better, IndyCar, for goodness sake. Anyway, let's talk about Wade Sheedy very quickly because he seems to be the benchmark in that series at the moment. Everyone's aiming to reel him in to get 2 wins off him tonight. Does you no harm whatsoever, mate, but it was still a 75-point deficit coming into the round. It's not lost on anybody how difficult it's going to be to try and continue to chip away at that and how consistent you're going to have to be to try and prevent him taking the crown in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, if I can keep up the momentum I've got, at least in the P Cup, I think I'll be able to bring it to him. But don't forget about Wilson. He's also halfway between both of us. He fumbled it, I think, himself at Silverstone. He put it on pole and finished down in 18th. So, he had one round. That's probably his drop round there. But yeah, he's still just in as much contention. But they're both quick. Sheedy's definitely a quick guy. I was only just quicker than him tonight at times. But yeah, I mean, obviously once all the drop points come into effect, that's after round 7, I believe.
Next week. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what the numbers all are. I think the other day I was trying to roughly do some numbers in GT3s, and I'm still quite a bit off that. But yeah, we'll see in the P Cups, what'll happen. But yeah, momentum I think is a bit on my side.
All right, very nicely done. I'm not sure if there's anything else to add on that. I mean, it's great to see that you've been able to turn things around, mate, because at a point there we were thinking that your best performance was going to be of the week was going to be the commentary of the BMWs. So, and that was still very good, but at least you've gone out there and bagged the win to at least salvage something out of what's otherwise been a character building week. For lack of better term.
Well, as much as you also say that, last night wasn't too great in the V8 at Adelaide.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, which is one of those things I hate because because I live 15 minutes away, and it's the best circuit in the world, and we're the best city in Rara. No, I'm not going to go there. Here we go.
Listen to him. He's got his violin out now, folks.
No, but one of the great things about it is, although I had a shocker, I've somehow come away with leading the championship there.
Yeah.
The other two guys that were ahead of me both scored less than 30 points. They basically didn't get any points for the second race last night. So that's probably going to be a drop round for them anyways. But it gives me that mental hope that, hey, look, maybe I do still have a way in this with that.
Be honest, when you're only 15 minutes down the road, was there part of you tempted to pack the sim rig in the car and go and actually set it up at the circuit last night?
No, but maybe I'll do that next time we're racing at Adelaide and GSRC. You know what? That is one hell of an idea. I need to buy a generator so I can plug everything in.
There you go. Jordan's going shopping at Super Cheap Auto tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Very nicely done. Hold the phone too, because there's something that there might be an opportunity for me to slide some work your way, based on some contact that was made in my general direction today. I'm already booked for the weekend in question, but you might be interested in the gig, and I might be able to set up the lines of communication for you. So hang 5, and once I get off air, I'll steer you in the right direction. Thank you, mate. Well done. Who would you like to thank?
I guess all of the regular guys that I thank, the guys at 116 Works, as well as the guys at Skidmark Sim Racing. Also, all of the guys at Matthew's Unsafe Safe Space. Trust me, it's safe. It's not unsafe. But those guys there as well. Thanks to all of them. A couple of them actually joined tonight and had their debut in the peak up. So yeah, thanks to Tyler Craig and Brendan Luna for hopping in. I know they had Matt Brown watching over them and all of that. So yeah, those two guys have just come in and they'll be with the 116 team. I'm trying to get them into the V8s and GT3s, but they're all like, oh, I haven't bought this circuit. I don't care. Buy the circuit and come racing.
I think they're looking to the bank of Jordan Pianazzola for sponsorship for them to buy the circuits.
Nah, they can sponsor me for my work. I still need to get back in a go-kart. They do all of that. I haven't touched a go-kart in ages. They actually race, not me. They got the money.
Listen. As I worked out very early in my life, I was never going to be getting a call from Roland or Toto. So there's more money to be made on this side of the fence with the microphone in hand, mate.
Yeah, look, I've realised that in the later years. But,
I think
still as a driver, I still have that ego. Come on.
Yes. Still getting the itchy feet on the sideline. I love it.
Yeah.
Very, very nicely done. That fills in a couple of gaps as well. A couple of the new names that we're seeing popping up. So we've got Thorn Wiggett on the recruitment drive, you on the recruitment drive. We got Momentum on the recruitment drive. More people popping up all around the place, which is a really good thing. And I think I'm going to bring in Andrew Neal at this particular point in time. I think from a club standpoint, mate, it's so good to see that the word of mouth is why the growth is the way it is at the moment. People are getting the word out about what we do and how good an outlet it is to go racing on a regular basis, to just get seat time and stay match fit. And word of mouth is a very powerful thing when it's good.
You can get anybody out there that's driving officials and they come and drive with GSRC. The racing is just so clean and so fun. Like, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Wasn't terribly clean at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but that's another story.
Well, we don't include the bees when we talk about clean racing. That's just a debacle.
Yeah. Although a bloody fun debacle to commentate, I must say. The slingshot random lottery draw of the week, and if you want more of that, stay tuned, folks, because when we get to Willow Springs in a couple of weeks' time, that's going to be off the chart good. As Jordan knows from the last time we went there. Speaking of which, how do you turn things around in the V next week, mate? VIR North.
Again, probably just have to walk outside, have a cigarette, and reset when I need to. Unfortunately, I don't promote smoking though, but for me, it just works. But
for him, it's therapeutic, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I do not promote it at all. I will say that. But look, yeah, now VIR North, we'll see. Willow Springs as well is fun. That was great fun last season. I think we went 5 wide at one point, which was nuts.
Yes, we
I
did.
somehow
Yep.
survived that crash, if I remember correctly.
You did. You did.
I think Ryan Tate drove over me there.
Correct.
And then Tsukuba and Phillip Island, and Tsukuba's like a go-kart track, it feels, so that'll look exactly and feel exactly like a go-kart race, it'll look like the junior lights at nationals, and everyone going off into the gravel trap like they do, and Phillip Island obviously with its nice flow will be fun. But yeah, look, I don't know how I reset going into the rest of it. It's hard. I just got to keep hoping that some of the other guys don't show up, but like Merritt, I need Chapman to also not show up, but he's starting to. So, and he's too quick for me to keep up, anyways. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to win this. I doubt I will. But I think get the top 5, I'll be ecstatic with that one.
Oh, very, very nicely done. He's in very good form at the moment, Jordan Pianazzola, ladies and gentlemen. The way with words that he has at the moment is why he does what I do on a Thursday night on a Wednesday night. So, no, very nicely done, keeping us well entertained. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. I am going to press on because I didn't realise that it was 20 to 11 already, and we've still got 3 blokes to get to.
Go for it. I'll catch you later. I got to go do indie practice so I can do better.
Yeah. Come back and say good day once we're off air, please.
Yeah, I'll see what the time is. But yeah, maybe.
Because I do need to run that info past you. So that's yes. Do come back after we get off air. Go and do some indie practice. Go.
I'll catch you later. Go interview the rest.
Appreciate that. Oh dear, all hell breaks loose on a Thursday night. It's fantastic. I'm going to get to the Vermilion boys in just a moment. But let's go to Joel and Hanson, and Jacob Miller's hung in here as well. And we'll get back to him for some final thoughts in a moment too. Joel, good evening to you. Well done on the result in race 2, mate. Nice way to finish a good night at the Hockenheimring. Talk us through it from your standpoint, please. Yeah, that's if Jolan's there. We might have actually put him to sleep. I'm not sure. I can see the light. I just can't hear anything. Are you there, Jolan?
I think I hear some snoring.
Oh, there. No, that's Jacob chiming in. We don't have Jolan yet. We don't have Jolan. We're late. The lights are on. No one's home. It's a bit like the Harold Holt situation. You can turn the lights off. We'll get back to Joel in a moment. We'll let him try and sort that technical issue out. Hopefully he's on top of it. Someone's dragged him back into the booth. Hello, mate. Have we got you? No. All right. You work on that. Let me go to Eli and Chapo for the moment. It's interesting, isn't it, Chapo? Because obviously we'll talk to you about Formula V in just a moment. That didn't necessarily go to plan in the closing stages of that race for Eli. But by gee, you had to work hard just to get back to, what was it in the end, 6th?
Yeah, you had to work really hard. It was really frustrating, actually.
Right on cue. There it is. Right on cue. Yep. Eli's moment at the final corner. Yep.
Yeah. That was probably
it's as though we timed it, ladies and gentlemen.
Of that frustration in the end. But yeah, I didn't have the straight line speed to catch anyone, and the place that I was weak was really out of that turn sort of 2-3 sequence, if anything, and that just meant that I just had no chance to get anything done. So went into full fuel save mode and botched the pit entry, so that was a waste of time as well. So it was a bit of a frustrating race. It was good points and that sort of thing in the end, and did okay in the first race and 0 exits, so that's all right. But that was a good race at the end there. I was speaking to Scott afterwards, and he was going, "Oh, mate, I was giggling the entire last couple of laps."
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Joel and Hanson is crying from the comments section in our YouTube feed that he's here. We know you're here. We're just hoping we can hear you.
should be able to now.
There we go. Yes. Better late than never. We've got him, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dear. Chapo, hang tight. Hang tight. I'm coming back to you because we've got to talk Formula V. And I also want to get your thoughts on, I don't know how much of the post-race show you caught in the Porsche Pro Invitational last night, but I want to get your thoughts on that. And I'm interested in Eli's take on things as well. And we've got to talk Formula V with you too, Chapo. But Jolin's been waiting here since before your race finished, so I feel bad for hanging him out to dry for an hour and then having a tech issue, so it almost became an hour and a half. The chat is going off tap tonight. Yes, it is, and that's is that you again, Mr. Neil?
Oh yeah, that was me.
On behalf of the club. So Neil is commenting as two users at the moment. He's also responsible for any comments that pop up courtesy of username Restream. So dual purpose, multitasking.
I'm clicking buttons and seeing what happens.
From Andrew Neil. Brilliant stuff. At least it's working. Let's have a chat to Jolin. So talk us through your night, please, mate, because as we saw, good, strong result in race 2. Difficult track to master. Some make it look easier than others. What was the method to the madness that worked for you this evening?
Yeah, it was a good night. Turned better. I was just enjoying some pancakes, and that's why I was on mute without realizing. I didn't want to be munching at everyone's ear. It felt like a wild ride up front. In the second race, when I ended up in pole, I just really wasn't sure if I was going to have the pace for it. I only decided to do this race after about midway through the V's after getting taken out twice. I was like, I want some more racing. I can't, go to bed satisfied. So I sort of had to channel my inner Buddha a bit and just sort of take a few breaths and sort of rethink the plan. Things were going pretty well. I was keeping things steady up front. I did have to talk on Discord with some of my teammates to figure out where the pit entry was because I haven't tested it yet. So that was a bit of a shock.
Indeed, I'm just replying to you at the moment, Chapo. I'm copping some heat for cutting his interview short, but there's a reason I did that, because I did want to go to Jolin first and I didn't want to lose him. We'll get back to the Vermilion boys because we can talk to you two for the price of one. And if Jacob's happy to stick around, although Chapo, I do take that term that I'm being called at the moment as a term of endearment. So I'm hoping that's okay. Let's go back to Jolin. From your standpoint, mate, I mean, I don't have any reference points at the moment because Adam Lavis has an early alarm tomorrow morning, so we don't have points coming through at this particular point in time. But this is a big result for you because we look at the results so far this season: 11th, 13th, 20th, 8th, DNF, DNR. So you've essentially burnt your drop rounds. You've got nothing to fall back on. Nice way to turn things around.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been a season where I've been focusing more on the GT3s, but over the last couple of weeks I've had Harrison Denbrinker been coaching me quite a lot, and that's really been helping pay dividends. So I think it's been 3 GT3 podiums and now a Porsche podium just in the last 2 weeks, which has been great.
Indeed, and how does this set you up for the next few weeks, mate? I mean, do you find the sprint races to be better for you and your overall performance and the way you go about your racing, or do you prefer those longer races that we had last week that you missed out on?
It's a mixed bag, I think. In the Porsche Cup, I definitely prefer the sprint races just because it is a bit taily on the rear end and I do find myself spinning around quite a bit. I will say, though, for tonight, like, P2 was quite liberal with their donation in position on that last lap after fighting with Jordan. I don't think I was anywhere near to sort of go for that. But definitely over the next couple of weeks, I'll be looking to open up the wallet to see how many more trucks I've got to buy. I think I've sort of reignited my passion with the Porsche Cup a bit after this round.
And that's really interesting because, and one of the things that I want to talk to the boys about in a moment is there's still, and we started having the chat with Raymond at the start of this post-race show, which is now into its second hour, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging in there for the ride. The post-race show is going to go longer than any of the racing tonight. How often is that the case? There seems to still be a general disdain, percentage-wise, overwhelming percentage of people still have a disdain for this vehicle. But again, everybody's in the same boat. It's how you adapt and work your way through that situation. It can be the determining factor as to whether you enjoy the experience or not, or whether you get to a place where, even though there is that general frustration with the car as an overall package, not any series in particular, the car, so this is throwing shade in the direction of iRacing, I guess we could say, and Porsche as well. It's about making the best of a bad situation, getting in there and persevering and seeing what you can reap out of it reward wise.
Yeah, I hear a lot about it, but I'm going to be quite upfront with you. I've only really been serious about iRacing since the new Porsche Cups come in. So that was about the same time I started picking up more than just the MX-5. So I don't really have a reference point in what the old Porsche Cup car was like. This is pretty much all I've known.
All right, very interesting insights from you, and good to get as well. So, where are the goalposts with regards to the next few weeks? What's a pass mark? What's a fail mark?
For me, it's mostly in the GT3s. I'm still aiming for those top fives. I think so far in the last 3 days, I've done 400 laps of Indy, so I'm feeling over prepared for that one specifically. But I've been really enjoying those. That
can be a good and a bad thing, though.
Yeah, the official conditions, it's been mostly wet racing, which is something I've really started to enjoy. I don't think we're going to get that in the 40-degree heat next Monday, but you never know.
No, possibly not. We will wait and see, though. We're looking forward to our trip to the Brickyard, to the road course, and then, of course, a couple of weeks' time we'll be there for the Indy cars on the Oval as well. So we're excited about that. What's keeping you busy between now and Monday night, if you don't mind me asking, in terms of sim racing, mate?
It's probably just going to continue being Indy. I'm trying to take a bit of a step back. I was doing, I think, every series except for the V8s in GSRC the first 5 weeks, and I definitely felt it getting to me energy-wise by the end of the week, that's for sure.
All right, very nicely done. The immediate thoughts, I mean, obviously after Indy, we turn around very quickly. We go to Interlagos. At what point do you start taking Interlagos into account and making that part of your preparation? Obviously, all your time at the moment is dedicated to Indy, but at what time do you start to also look towards Interlagos, or is that a Tuesday problem?
Well, this week it was a halfway through the V-race problem, so I definitely want to bring that back a day or two. I've had a lot of running at Interlagos in the Porsche Cup, so it'll probably just be a bit of a refresher maybe Wednesday night.
All right, very, very nicely done. Hey, I must apologise to you, Jacob Miller, because you've been sitting there like the silent, quiet achiever of the booth for the last hour or so. Let me bring you in at this particular point in time, because I go off on a tangent, I go in swings and roundabouts, and I just go with the flow, right? There's no real set structure to any of this post-race madness, and that's probably why it runs for as long as it does, ladies and gentlemen. Open admission from me. But is there anything that you can think of that I might not have touched on with Joel in here that we might be able to get some more info out of him before we let him go? Is there a question that you'd like to ask him?
Oh, I mean, I'll think of a question the second he leaves, but I think you've covered it pretty well.
I've just put him on the spot. Is what he's trying to say, ladies and gentlemen.
I've had to quickly put my phone away, and oh god, what's happened? I feel like I'm on a Zoom call at work or something.
Oh, very nicely done. I just wanted to make sure you were still here. That was all. I was, as I said, making sure you hadn't fallen asleep. Very good. Hey, Joel, and just one more comment from you. How are you? I can't help but notice how much better a place the Porsche Cup is in this season compared to what it was this time last term. Like, we were struggling to attract a crowd across two splits. You guys were in the mid-teens. These guys were in single digits by this point last term. We were struggling to attract a crowd to a Thursday night. Here we are, midway through the term. We're on the turn home for home. We're 6 rounds down, 4 to go. And you guys still have a grid of 30 tonight. But with that comes increased pressure, increased stakes, increased competition. And I feel as though, even though there are still 2 splits, that second split, that open split, highly competitive at the moment. You've got to work hard.
Yeah, it's something that I think we'll see how the rest of this season goes, but I definitely think I want to be pushing towards that elite split at the moment. The Open's been good because there's quite a diverse field. There's a lot of people coming in for the first time, experiencing the Porsche Cup for all its benefits and negatives. But it's something that I think I'll need to sort of evaluate post this season around, that 2-3 week gap that we do have, how much time I do want to put into the Porsche Cup moving forward.
Is David Kirby still in the house? He probably isn't, but of course, he poked and prodded me in the direction of one of my pet peeves earlier in the season, as earlier in the evening, as Andrew and Jacob know. And now you've just talked about next season. We do have a 2-week break between term 3 and term 4, and then we have 1 week of civilization and then 9 weeks of stupidity when we have 15 different time zones to try and work our way around. And Queensland goes back to the early days of World War One. It'll be terrific. Jolan, who would you like to thank before I let you go, buddy? Thanks for stopping in for a chat, by the way, and thanks for being so patient as well.
Yeah, no worries. As I said, I was just sitting there enjoying my pancakes. I just want to share a massive thank you for WRM, so Wild Ride Motorsports, to welcome me in this season.
Keep going.
And our new sponsor, PR Technology, so they've picked up supporting us for this season. And really keen to see what that partnership looks like moving forward. They're a Porsche workshop in Sydney.
And I was going to say, Thorne's got an expanding stable there at the moment. Every week we turn up, we're starting to see more and more drivers in Wild Ride colours. He's on a recruitment drive, isn't he?
Yeah, it's definitely been an increase. I've only been in the team the last 4 weeks, and it feels like I'm one of the pieces of furniture. You
are, that's right, exactly. Oh, it's fantastic. In saying that, though, great to have so many sponsors, but the most glaringly obvious thing in all of this that I need to ask you about, since when did pancakes become a dinner meal instead of a breakfast meal?
Of course it is. You just a scoop of ice cream, some icing, sugar on top. It's nice and warm. That's for sure.
I love it. Fantastic. Very good, mate. Well done. Thank you to you. You're not on track tomorrow night, so we'll see you Monday night, yeah?
Yeah, see you Monday night. Cheers. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. There he is, Jolan Hanson. Very, very nicely done. So thank you to him, and thank you even more so to the people at Chapo's and his fan base that are now sitting there throwing things at their television because I'm holding him up. I didn't realise that you had other arrangements after the sim racing tonight, Chapo, but there's a lot to talk to you two blokes about. Eli, firstly, the tyres, they must have been pleading for mercy towards the back end. That was cutthroat, that battle between you, Rankin, and Chapo. I thought there for a moment that Chapo was going to come to your aid and be a pillar of support for you, but then you two started squabbling.
Yeah, no, I didn't really have the pace tonight to fight those top three, so I sort of just went my little tangent, saw Zach go past and just let him go. I was racing Scotty, and I knew Chapo would be back there fuel saving as he usually does, so thought I'd match him and try and better him, but he still beat me. And then, yeah, Scotty did the same as what he did to Chapo the other week, and was like, we're in the same chat, and it was like, okay, I'll talk to you in 3 laps and don't kill us. So it was all right. It was pretty fun.
And by the way, I've just read Chapo's follow-up message from the earlier correspondence, and I appreciate that too. Hey, let's go back to you, Eli, and if you're not sure what we're talking about, mate, we'll clarify that off air. I'm sure Chapo's keeping you posted anyway. There's a lot of humour going on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're having some fun. We love our banter and our sledging. Let's talk about... See, that's the most surprising thing for me, Eli, right, when you said that you didn't have the pace tonight, because I looked at that and thought, well, Cross, you're on the invert pole. Here's your opportunity, right? Take off into the sunset, catch me if you can. But then all of a sudden, Jaden Wilcox and Raymond Mallon, they had other ideas, and they swooped very bloody quickly.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't have even been on the invert pole. I had Wilcox decide that he wanted to drive through me on the last, coming into the stadium section on the last lap, after he made his own mistake at turn 1 on the last lap. So I have no idea what his issue is, but as soon as I saw him come up behind me in the second race, I was like, I don't really care for your time or your patience, so I just let him go, because I don't have any time to race like that. So, yeah, I shouldn't have been on invert pole. Probably should have been 4th or 5th for the second race. But, yeah, Scotty sort of held them all up for me, and I was going to run, but I was like, I'm going to get caught regardless. So I thought I'd just control what I could control and just do what I normally do.
Yeah, stay with me, mate. I'm going to come back to you because it is nice to see you back around here on a bit more of a regular basis. Let's be perfectly honest. We've been brushed aside. We're no longer priority number 1 on a Monday night whilst he's competing in NASCAR racing, ladies and gentlemen. So he comes and visits on a Thursday night, but he won't come and visit in Formula V.
I've been considering it, but every night it's just too early in the evening. I get home from work late. I gotta spend some time with the partner, and then I can squeeze Porsche Cup in. So I think I'm contractually bound to as much as I can be.
Very nicely done. Chapo, let's go to you and talk Porsches. Not so much tonight per se. I mean, we'll put a full stop on that in a moment. But let's talk about last night. Interesting night at the Mountain, and again, hard work.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard work at the Mountain. It's particularly hard work because I seem to be completely incapable of qualifying effectively. You end up fighting your way through the pack, and did a decent job. Almost was in the top 10 by the end of that feature race, but yeah, when you're starting further back, it's pretty difficult to make it much further forward in a field of that caliber. So was actually pretty happy all in all. Like, I was driving pretty well for, Bathurst has not always been a happy hunting ground for me. But I was pretty comfortable around there, and pretty happy with the pace, particularly sort of midway through that feature.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about, I've been really looking forward to getting you blokes' comments on Zach White's analysis last night, because he comes in there, he's second in the championship. He's won the invert race. He's held off a fast finishing Damon Woods. I mean, if it had been another 1 or 2 laps, that may not have been the case. It was alarming, actually. I was really caught off guard by this, but I thought at the same time, hang on, he's feeding me some good stuff. I'm going to run with this, and we're going to stretch this chat out and get some more out of him. And he was very, very good, very open and candid and honest, and that's what we love about those guys. We love it when they're somewhat unfiltered. But to hear him describe the car as a bag of dicks when he is the one of the prominent forefront runners in this series, and probably the favourite to secure second behind Damon, who's likely going to wrap it up with a round to go the way things are going right now. There's just no reeling him in. But to hear him describe it as that, and then realise that it's not just him, but it's more broad across the Porsche landscape at the moment. There is so much angst towards this car. I mean, it says a lot when the guys that we consider to be the benchmark come out and say, well, when we go and race in other series, we're actually stragglers, we're struggling, but we're the benchmark of this series, and we still don't like the car. Does that, as guys that are slowly, surely trying to work out this new 992.2, and Chapo, you as the defending GSRC Porsche Cup Elite champion, what did you guys make of those comments? And obviously, how does that make you feel in relation to your own relationship with the race car, considering that you are also trying to work out, well, what the bloody hell have we got to do to match this bloke?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually see his interview, and obviously there's been a bit of angst around the new car. I would say that the angst around the new car is largely due to the love of the old car rather than, a complete disdain to the new car.
As good as a holiday in their opinion, Chapo, and I can conform to that.
Yeah, like, I mean, because I don't think it's a bad car to drive. I still think it's a more enjoyable car to drive than a GT3, for instance. But it's not the old car. It's got, it's obviously got your TCs and your ABS, and that changes things. Probably not as much you can do from a setup perspective for those guys. Those are, Zach knows how to build a pretty good setup, and he probably doesn't have as much to play around with this car. I'd imagine he was also probably just frustrated at the fact that he could see that Damo was still significantly faster than him towards the end of the race, regardless as well. So, it's probably, there's a bit to it. There's definitely frustrations with it, and you've got to get things right and get used to it. And I still don't know how those top guys, particularly Damo, does it with such sort of smooth inputs and all that sort of thing. But I think the car races, I think it races pretty well. It doesn't have the crazy toe anymore, which
that's true.
I mean, I quite liked the sort of crazy toe to some extent because it meant, places like this, you'd actually be able to get a few moves done, even with a bit of wing on the car, which I just couldn't really do as well anymore. And you can't get people as easily under brakes, given the ABS as well. So, but yeah, I don't think it's all that bad. It is what it is, and I think there are worse cars out there.
Eli, your take on all of it?
I don't disagree with his comments. It is completely, it's completely different to what we drove the previous generation before. It's the reason how the front bounces. I just don't understand how that all works with anything we see in real life. I don't know if any of the actual Porsche guys can relate if this is what it feels like in real life. We've got enough of them circulating around at the moment. It would be interesting to get their take and see if it is even similar to what they drive, if they drive in real life. Zach and Damo are aliens in whatever they drive, so I don't think it really matters what they drive. They can drive it to the highest level that we've got to offer in Australian sim racing. So
yeah,
I don't think there's much that they should be worrying about it. Unlike
that's fair
us,
too.
myself, like Chapo and me, where we've got. We drive everything we can because we just enjoy sim racing when we use it for our time. So, everyone's opinion is going to be different. It's not the same, but it's what we've got, and we've got to live with it.
And as they say in the classics, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. But let's also explore another element of this, right? And this has become clearer tonight. We're hearing more and more, Chapo, and I know this is right up your alley, right? Because how often have we spoken about you jumping in, on a whim, a few minutes from race one getting underway and just having at it, right? But I can't help but feel as though the days of arrive and drive, they're not as much of a thing as they used to be. We're finding more and more that if you want to be hitting your straps, hitting your markers, and being at the pointy end on a more regular basis, you're having to commit more time or find a way to commit more time to the task.
Yeah, I think so. In my view, any car that has assists, it's much less of an option to arrive and drive, and unless they're very sort of consistent or easy assists. Just because it's less obvious where the actual limit of the vehicle is, in my view. When you hopped in the old Porsche or something, you knew when the limit of the vehicle was because it was locking up, or it was spinning or whatever. Whereas with this, okay, you're hitting a bit of ABS. Is that good? Is that bad? Don't really know. Are we using too much traction control? Don't really know. So it takes more time to work it out and more data and that sort of thing, in my view, versus something like a V where you can jump in and work out what that limit is because there's nothing else to play with.
Indeed. Let's get your thoughts on that, Eli, as well, because I mean you somewhat know what this is like already, having to find time in the schedule or make sacrifices to be able to commit to what you want to commit to and prioritize.
Yeah, 100%. I think I said that very early when I was in GD3. I had to spend a lot of time in GD3 to feel that limit, like Chapo was saying, with the assists. And then I was sort of tinkering in the Porsche Cup not last season, but end of last year before this car came out, and sort of found my rhythm and my groove in it, and then they changed it. So, yeah, it's just getting harder and harder to be in leagues where you can just arrive and drive. There's still a few in here, the gents that you could probably show up and have half a chance at arriving and maybe having a win, but at most leagues these days you've got to put a solid amount of practice in to be at least in the top 10 or 20, depending on what league you're in.
Benny Pedersen reckons you've hit the nail on the head there, Chapo. That trying to find the extra time required to dedicate to the task is what's doing his head in. And I think everybody is feeling the pinch because, as we've detailed for some time now, life's getting busier. Well, the world is back to where it was pre-COVID, but we're trying to maybe cram more into our week-to-week schedule.
Yeah, crazy time to say feeling the pinch after while I'm pinching Eli on the entry of that corner. But yeah, like I mean, I've got racing last night, and I've got work today, and then I've got V's beforehand. So where's really the time to get those extra laps in? It's pretty limited to feel it out. Fortunately, I knew the track a bit before, but then it also extends to you got to do setups for these things, and I've been finding the out of the box setups we probably need to do a bit more work on. A lot of them are coming with my setup today came with 13 wing. That ended up being way too much. Couldn't get any moves done. Couldn't get the pace out of it. So like how you're able to put that time into it is pretty difficult when you've got a life going on outside of it. But we try.
Absolutely, and we're still looking to week 10 to work out whether or not you going for a free dinner is going to cost you another Formula V title.
Oh, wouldn't shock me now, would it? However, it's always nice when John Merritt gives you a bit of a freebie.
Him not turning up tonight was a big surprise, actually.
I mean, it's I really like racing with John, but it's a joyous surprise, I have to say. 'Cause that's a third drop round and you only get two. And by God, he's been doing well in the ones he's been showing up to, while I've been running into things. So, yes.
Running into things, running into people, it doesn't matter. There's been a bit of that going on at the moment. Quickly sum up tonight's Porsche racing from your standpoint, please. Obviously, thoroughly enjoyable you going door to door there with Scotty and Eli in the closing stages, but considering that the number one's on the door at the moment, you would have liked to have been a little bit further up the field, I would have thought.
Yeah, I would. Like, first race was, decent. Let Benny pass early and then just sort of tried to get the 0x, which I got into a P4. So, it's not brilliant, but it's not horrible. Bank a few points. And that second race, that was a bit frustrating because I just couldn't get anything done. I could not get the exit out of 3 and just had too high wing to get past anyone on the straight. So had to go, sort of ended up going mega fuel save and, bucket up the entry to pit lane. So that didn't end up really helping me anyway. So, I mean, a little frustrating there, but, it's still good points. We tick away. We'd be in a much better position if I'd not thrown away that first round, given the way the points are structured nowadays. Those first rounds are pretty grim with 150 points because, it's you spend the rest of the season trying to make it back up.
Come on, Chapo, if you're not whinging about the point structure, you're whinging about the fact that you've got to make a compulsory pit stop.
I could whinge about that too if you want, but
I've got time. I'm not sure if Neely does, but I do.
Oh, well, to be fair, tonight, I probably wouldn't have done it tonight. But at certain circuits, of course. I'll leave it for tonight. I don't need to whinge about that tonight.
How good. Now, the other point as well, what are your immediate thoughts, gentlemen, on Interlagos? And obviously the fact that you've got both Jaden Wilcox and Raymond Mallon there sort of announcing themselves and saying, look, we're going to try and make your lives, in terms of trying to be at the point out of the field, as difficult as bloody possible. Start with you, Chapo.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine by me. Hopefully, they can jump between me and a few of my championship rivals. Suits me to have some faster guys in there. That doesn't bother me at all, if they're not actually fighting for the championship. So it'll be good to see them out there. And, I'm a big fan of Interlagos. Always good racing. I always enjoy going out there. So I'm looking forward to that. And I might go in with a slightly less wing so that I can actually do something.
Eli, your thoughts on Interlagos before I go back and get Chabo's thoughts on VIR North for Formula V?
Interlagos, not a bad track. Got the long straight down into turn 1. A few hairpins to dive bomb people. So overall, I think it'll be good racing next week. Just hope I don't get doored too hard and off the track, but we'll see what happens.
Hang on. So the same person that doesn't want to get doored and punted off the circuit is planning dive bombs.
Yeah, you got to give some to get some. So I got some tonight. I got some owing to give out next week if I show up. So
very good.
I got some owing, and I got safety license points there to use. So we'll see what happens.
Righto. Okay. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Elbows out, doors rubbing next week. It's going to be good fun on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Looking forward to that. Chapo, VIR North, vitally important round of Formula V, I would imagine, considering that when we have a look back at how tonight finished, disappointing to not be able to bag strong results in all three races, but at least you'll still able to secure one W.
Yeah, I mean, good we were able to secure that one. A few games at the end to make sure of it, but it came through. Obviously race one was annoying that, got caught up in all the garbage, but it's also not entirely surprising around there. So, and was pretty lucky to make it back to that 10th spot to start race two. And, race three was, mega start, but, that the track's a bit of a meme if we're being honest, because you can go from 15th to 4th in a lap, halfway through the next one, but you can't catch the top two if that you've got someone that's not really working with you intelligently. So then those two that they know what they're doing up ahead. So, there was no catching them.
No, there certainly was not. Although that being said, I tried to ask the boys. I think I lost Alex Borger's right in the question that I was asking. So I'll try and articulate it a little bit better for you. There's something not quite right about us in the sense that we all line up for that adrenaline rush that comes with being centimetres away from motor racing death every time we go racing in Formula V. There's a certain adrenaline rush that comes with that, but it evaporates very bloody quickly once you do get caught up in the carnage, doesn't it?
Yes, then it just turns into frustration, and so it's all well and good until it happens, and you've got damage, and you're at the back of the field, and there's not much you can do about it. So, yes, and as Eli and I have been doing NASCAR and that as well, it's a very similar concept of you race very very closely together, and in the blink of an eye, it all goes wrong, and see you later. Fortunately, not quite as bad in these sort of cars. Although Eli almost tried to make it happen on Scott just there, but yes, that's what makes it fun is that sort of that side by side action for sure.
And Eli, I guess glass half empty, glass half full in that situation with you and Chapo and Scotty. I mean, it could have been worse. If the guys that were immediately behind you were a little bit closer, that would have added insult to injury because you would have lost spots, but you did well in which you were able to hold on to 7th and consolidate.
Yeah, it would have been nice if my teammate left me a little bit more space. But I was probably leaving the spot anyway because he was in the championship and I'm not. So it would have worked out anyway. And plus the three of us clowns that were racing the last 3 laps, we all decided that the only chance we were going to be anywhere near the front was by saving fuel. So we sort of built that buffer between the guys at the front and the guys that were behind us that allowed us to race like clowns for the last 3 laps, which was quite enjoyable.
The funniest part in all of that, though, Chapo, right, is that in that situation, I'm looking at that thinking, righto, I know these 3 blokes, but it's 1 versus 2, and we know there's no love lost between the big teams in sim racing at the moment, of which Logitech and Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport and Vermilion are 2 of them, right? So here I am thinking, okay, Rankin might be in a little bit of trouble here because Eli and Chapo are there. They can work together as teammates and gang up on him. And in the end, he had the last laugh because he finished ahead of both of you.
Well, get this. Eli wasn't in a chat with me. He was in a chat with Scott. Go figure. It was actually 2 against 1 the other way around. These guys had comms with one another. I was in there with Zach Kerr, who's gone off into the bloody distance.
Yeah. Do you enjoy a situation like that more if you've got a teammate there, or less? By which I mean you go racing. Say it was Formula V. It could be John Merritt and Adam Lavis, 2 guys from different teams. Do you enjoy which part of that? Do you enjoy more when it's two different teammates, or sorry, when you've got a teammate to work with, or when you don't?
I usually prefer when I don't have a teammate there because, usually I'll change my driving style and, my risk tolerance and that sort of thing, depending on whether it's a teammate. Although maybe not tonight. But yeah, like I find it much more difficult to race around teammates usually because, there's this level of guilt with doing a move or, whether you slow someone down or anything like that you don't have if, you're just straight up racing someone, tooth and nail. And, you obviously don't want to do them over in any way, but there's always sort of risk in motor racing when it comes to making moves and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, I like being, in a server and that sort of thing with them and being able to talk every now and then. But, actually racing on track makes it a bit more difficult.
What about you, Eli?
Yeah, I'm with Chapo. I would rather race not against my teammates because it's so much harder. You've got it's a different level of respect. You want to be courteous. You want to be kind. It affects how you would race your teammate compared to racing, somebody else. Like, don't get me wrong, there's guys out there that you have the same level of respect for, but you're going to probably push the move a little bit more on them than if it was your teammate. So it makes your driving style change completely. And you're more worried about the backlash you're going to get if something happens rather than just doing what you normally would do. So yeah, I totally agree with Chapo. I'd rather race a bunch of people that I'm not associated with. I can go out and have fun and can race against and can bang doors, make moves, have fun.
All right, very nicely done. Do you also agree with what we were saying earlier there with Raymond that, despite the disdain for the car, we continue to sign up to run it, and it's not just because, there's a lot of sim racing opportunities within that space surrounding the Porsche 992.2 at the moment, but at the same time, it's a case of, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I mean, yeah, sure, there'd be some sort of nights where the tolerance, the patience, the threshold breaks, right? I'm 100% aware of that. But I think there's, even though you know what you're signing up for and it's going to be a mind, you know what, insert word here that has 4 letters, that you wouldn't be signing up to it as frequently, as regularly, as eagerly if it was a walk in the park.
Yeah, and as I say, it's still better racing than GT3, so you can't complain about that.
I personally think you'd see a totally different outcome of the Porsche Cup if it wasn't a current ASRG series where you can make it as at a professional level. I think if you saw, like we saw GT Pro last year for gents, where we had the first season of GT3 where we had all the top blokes, I reckon you'd see the same if they changed next year to a different car. I reckon if the gents did the same thing, you'd see all of the top guys in here. So I think it's more a flow-on effect of it being a current ASRG series. Obviously, we all endeavour, regardless of what skill level, we all endeavour to race with the top guys in ASRG. Supercars is just ridiculous. I don't know why you drive the piece of shit, but anyway. We had GT Pro last year, which I was quite excited for, but couldn't get into. And then this year we had Porsche Cup. So there we go. I don't know. They may stay with Porsche Cup again for another season. Not counting my lucky stars, but I think with the sustain of it being opportunity to get to race at a higher level with the higher guys, I think that's why you're seeing the participation levels are so high at the moment.
Very nicely done. All right, well, we should probably think about wrapping it up because if we don't, it'll be midnight before we do. Last opportunity for you guys now to thank who you'd like to thank, starting with you, Eli.
Oh, crap. Vermilion Esports, Homo Setups, all the other blokes that put their sponsors and their businesses on the car. Appreciate everyone for what they do. And yes, that is me.
Had all that time. He's been sitting in here for an hour and we put him on the spot with his sponsor. Thank you. I love that. Chapo?
Yeah, I'll fill in the remaining sponsors, if you want. We got Jaime, we got Lewis Greathead Online Coaching, Ben Faulkner Media, Pace Wealth Fund, 27 Designs, and Fury Global for our Porsche side of things. And of course, Sophie and Elle for watching along at home, all my fans, Zach,
Yes.
that have been hyping for the interview all night, and fortunately we're able to finally provide, so that's good news.
We missed one, Chapo.
They can go to bed now. They've heard from their superstar.
Yeah, exactly. It's bedtime now.
We missed one. There's one on Monday night. It's the Oscar Sport, the Stock Car Championship.
That's true.
Broadcasted live on SimSpeed every Monday night. We're at Portland this weekend, so we're actually road racing this week in a stock car. So come watch us wobble around in that. That's good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Get around it.
And then come and watch our GT3 coverage, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Two screens, Zach. Two screens. You know how to do it.
Correct. Yeah, they're the sports bar setup. I'm all for it. But
okay.
you're going to need that. You're going to need that tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. I'll explain that in a moment. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate that. Hang five, because I reckon you'll be entertained by a couple of things that are going on in these corridors when we get off air. Jacob, thank you to you for sticking around, mate. I know I caught you off guard there earlier. You didn't have anything to ask one of the other drivers earlier in the post-race show, so I'm not sure if you've got anything that you want to throw in the direction of Eli or Chapo. However, we are going to wrap things up. We know that you're keen to come and lend your vocals to more of the stuff that we do on a regular basis going forward, or semi-regular basis going forward. We are trying to restack the shelves here, ladies and gentlemen. We've been running as a skeletal unit for a little bit of time, but obviously our mate Sharpie's looking after his health at the moment. So it was great to have Harry Dan Brinker in the booth last night. Jordan Pianazola's been in here. I'm somewhat part of the furniture now. I'm not even allowed to apply for long service leave in 3 years' time. I've been told I'm not going anywhere. That was from El Presidente before he was El Presidente. I want to clarify. There's a lot to pick apart and all of that, but it's good to have more people wanting to get involved in this side of the fence, because you never know when the proverbial is going to hit the fan, and you're going to need to be able to call upon someone at short notice to fill the void. Even though I must admit I still feel guilty when I have to do that, because you don't want anybody having to pick up your freight too often, any more than they have to. But to you, Jacob, thanks for jumping on in, mate. Some final thoughts and reflections on what's been a very long night in the house.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. It's been great. Thank you for Andrew Neil for inviting me. And he's kind of I was a bit nervous, so he kind of had to force my hand, but it's all gone for the better. It's been a ton of fun out here. And, maybe I'll want to dip my toes in commentating, get my voice heard. Making these videos, do the voiceovers, it's a very similar skill. It'd be really cool to, just give it I've thought about it. I don't know where I stand on how much I want to really get into it, but I have definitely thought about it, that's for sure.
Well, Neely said you'd be well suited to it, because he said he's seen your YouTube videos. He reckons you don't mind the sound of your own voice.
Oh, well, I don't know how confident I'll feel about that, but...
And I must admit, he didn't even know I was going to throw that comment at you, but he was the one that told me that about 3.5 hours ago. So that's not the, I'm just working with the material I've got here, ladies and gentlemen. Very nicely done. You're welcome back anytime, mate, and good luck when you're out on the track as well. When's the next time we're going to see you out there in the thick of it, please?
Sim racing is going to be GT3s. Real life racing, oh God, it's winter time. I can't find a track day or hill climb for the life of me, but
that's true.
Yeah, we'll keep our head down and GT3 should be fun. We got what is it? It's a fun one. No, it's Indianapolis for the GT3s. Very, very hot. Should be fun. I was doing that track, and at first I hated that the little infield area, but I think just because I wasn't good at it, to be honest, and I started getting the flow of it, and I'm coming around to it.
He's warming to
Not
it.
quite rapid yet.
No,
not rapid yet.
What about you, Neely? When are you next in the cockpit, please?
I'll be gritting my teeth and bearing through Indianapolis.
Yes, that's right. You didn't sound terribly keen on that when we told you that was the next stop on Monday night.
No. Not much good to say about that track.
See, this is the thing. This is why I get the best part of the job, ladies and gentlemen, because if there's a track that I like or don't like, it doesn't matter. I just have to call the action and then worry about whether these guys like it or not. So it always makes for good quality entertainment when they coming into the house and moaning and whinging and complaining about it post-race. Some of them are.
I would see how well you go with your eyes shut, Zach. I know that. That'd be better than looking at that track.
Raymond Mallon had no problems with anything tonight. He cleaned up. Jordan Bianazzola cleaned up eventually. After getting cleaned up in Formula V, he went out and cleaned up in the Porsches. So the best of both worlds, really. And on the highlight reel permanently now, considering that he landed on the fence almost perfectly at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Well done to the Roosters over the Panthers in Thursday night. NRL, Bangladesh only 102 behind Australia when day 2 gets underway tomorrow morning, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. You'll see it on 7 mate in WA for the first hour of the coverage and then back on 7 for the balance of the day. And it was Melbourne over Hawthorn in the AFLW as we go around the grounds for the last time tonight. We kind of neglected that a little bit. So much was going on the racetrack. And it's been a very, very busy night. A reminder that that's our schedule of what's coming up. But let me get to a few other things when we're done with this. Tomorrow night, Joe's pretty confident. He's lining up going 6 from 6. He said, we'll achieve the 6-pack. That'll be it. And I said to him earlier, what are we drinking for said 6-pack? And he said, we'll be on air, so we'll have to be responsible. And he's right. So soft drink it is. Lemonades all round tomorrow night. Alton Park for 2 sprint races for the 6th round of the GSRC GT1 Civil War, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 on the West Coast and 9:30 in New Zealand. Then on to the IndyCar Series with thanks to Disruptive Labs from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the Ile Notre Dame in Montreal, Canada. And that'll be our second visit to Canada in as many nights. Again for open wheel racing. 42 laps the journey, 8:40 Eastern. Hope you can join us for that. We spin the wheel partway through tomorrow night's broadcast to determine the car of choice for Saturday night's Mountain Men Excursion. 32 laps, Mount Panorama Bathurst. That's just a warm-up for Sunday, really. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll join us for all of that. Those races, Mountain Men, not all broadcast, of course. I know we try and do 1 or 2 every year, but for our members that do sign up and do register and go and contest those, good luck, enjoy it. We will be back on air Monday night on the back of an enormous weekend for our ASRG colleagues. Monday night, we pick it up again. Off to Circuit de Jerez in Spain. 3rd stop in Spain for the Waste Options Formula Renault 3.5 series, with thanks to the person that put the calendar together and thought Spain should be the central point of the season, I guess. We're on the Grand Prix configuration, 2 sprint races, so we're back to sprint racing after 30 minutes around Silverstone last week. 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us, and then on to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Again, it's sprint racing there, and we go gold split for race 1, platinum split for race number 2. And the first one will be with you at about 8:30, the second one around 8:35, ready for 9 o'clock. Tuesday night, committee's choice, 2 sprint races, 30 minutes in length, Daytona International Speedway. Now, is that the road course or the oval?
That is the oval, and it is with the ARCA cars.
Oh, nice. ARCA, 30 minutes apiece, 2 races, 2 bites of the cherry, 2 rolls of the dice. Daytona, oh, that'll be good. 7 o'clock Tuesday night for committee's choice for those of you that are lining up for that. I'm actually, believe it or not, I've been a bit of a Harold Holt with regards to Wednesday night motorsport of late, but I'm back next week. Hopefully Jordan's in here too for the BMWs, because that'll be a beauty from Lime Rock Park. That is one of the great underrated circuits in world motorsport and underutilised as well, as far as I'm concerned. 40 minutes of journey, 7:25 Eastern. Hope you can join us for that. Then on to the supercars again, 40 minutes. Now, we've been looking forward to this one with bated breath if we're a spectator, and with the degree of caution, scepticism and trepidation if we're a driver. The Qualcomm circuit, the Naval Base in Coronado. Yep, that's the next stop. The newest circuit on the server for the Supercar Series with thanks to Trophy AI. You'll see it live, exclusive and free on your screens Wednesday night, 8:40 Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night, as we've already detailed, VIR North for the Formula Vs. That's 3 sprint races as per usual. Races, what are we up to now? Week 7, 19 to 21 of the campaign. And 7:25 Eastern, Matt Schmidtke with me for that. Andrew Neal will jump in. Off to the Autodromo, Jose Carlos Pache. Interlagos, Brazil. 2 sprint races there. South America, the next stop for the Porsche Cup. Again, sprint racing. Again, 8:40 Eastern. Again, we'll start with the open split, finish with the elite split. Results from everything else as the night goes on. Now, speaking of results, as we detailed earlier, Adam Lavis working feverishly at the moment. He's busy with his real world stuff. He's busy with GSRC stuff, burning the candle at both ends, the poor bastard. So, no points updates tonight. We'll bring you an updated points table for Formula V and the Porsche Cup in tomorrow night's broadcast, Friday Night Motorsport, across Facebook and YouTube. So we're looking forward to that. A couple of other things to get to. Now, we're on air tomorrow night, but you're going to need your sports bar operational tomorrow night because the Bathurst weekend begins for the Supercar Boys, Logitech, and a few of our guys are lining up. Co-driver clash tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 7:45 Eastern, I think it is. Then we get stuck into the qualifying and shootout Saturday night, 6:15 Eastern. And then on Sunday, if you don't mind, the day-long marathon that is the Logitech G Pro Invitational True Force Enduro Cup finale, the Bathurst 1000 of 2026. They've got some sprint racing to come September, October, November, but this will be the end of the road as far as the Enduros are concerned. The big one, the grand one of the lot, and that will be from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what is normally a nighttime offering becomes a day-long marathon, and we hope you'll join us for that. There's not a hell of a lot of other motorsport on this weekend on the telly, so that's a good opportunity to line up and watch some great sim racing. Yes, Andrew?
Not done the standings from BMW or the V8s.
Haven't we? All right. Well, let's stay a little bit longer. If you want to go an extra couple of minutes, why not? I mean, what's midnight?
We have a look.
So, yes, we should. 100%. Well, let's go and have a look. Update to the BMW points standings. Well, what a surprise. Andrew Dyson's still on top of the points table, but I guess the most surprising thing is he didn't do the double last night. First and seventh. He leads by 13 points on Adam Funslow. Now, remember, all this changes at the end of next week because drop rounds come into the mix as part of the points matrix at the completion of week 7. So, as each category completes its 7th round, everything gets updated. So we'll get a better idea of the full picture next week. 491 for Chris Hand. How tight's that? 25 points covers the top 3. Big gap then back to Richard Brookfield on 416, 400 for Guy Leach. Richard King 398. Jeff Adams also 398. So 18 points covering 4th and 7th at the moment. 379 for Eduardo Zamora, 376 for John Merritt, again absent last night. 358 for Adam Lavis makes up the top 10. Now that is 158 points. I want to 100. Oh God, I'm having a shocker here. No, sorry, I'm looking at John Merritt and I'm thinking, hang on, that's 140. No, I'm going 18 back, 158 points between 1st and 10th. I just lost my bearings there for a moment. I apologise. 158, 1st to 10th. That's the BMW Motorsport Cup standings. We may as well go and have a look at the Trophy AI Supercars. Development first. Yeah, that's fine. We can go development first. Yeah, go on. We'll work our way up to the elite. Oh, wow. Jesus. Have a look at that. 9 points covers the top 3. 2 Chevs are Holden. 2 Chevs are Ford. You've got 543, 542, and 534. Jordan Pianazzola, Jamie Fleming, and Jeff Adams. And Daniel Snedden, 517, 3 clear of Max Carroll. JD Dent, 485. Adam Lavis, 482. 450 for Hayden Watson. Jake Partridge in a pear tree, 431, and Drew Collins, 410. 133 covers 1st and 10th, but that is extraordinarily tight. 9 points covers the top 3. You can't afford to sneeze there at the moment, and 3 points covers 4th and 5th. 3 points covers 6th and 7th. That is ridiculous at this point in time in the Supercar Series and the development split. The elites, Let's have a look at that and remind you that Alex Zikas is on top there at the moment. He's having a great season across the board. He's still in contention on Monday night, going well there in the Formula 103.5. He leads the way the end of round 6 in the Supercar Elite Series with thanks to Trophy AI. Alex Zikas 609, Ryan Nelson 561, Ryan Barber 553, Sean Rigby 551, Andy Barber 527, Will Buchanan 516, 505 for Wade Sheedy. James Scott, 380. 316 for Adam Hayden. Nathan Michael, 302. Wasn't on the grid last night. 307 points, covers first and 10th at the moment. Can we just go back, Andrew, if you don't mind, to the development split just for 1 second? So 1, 2, 3, 4 Chevs and 6 Fords in the top 10 and back to the elite. There we go. 1, 2, 3. The polar opposite. So you got 6 Chevs and 4 Fords in the top 10 in the elite split, and 6 Fords, 4 Chevs in the top 10 in the dev split. How about that? So you can't scream parity in this series at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, because that's 10 and 10 from both in the top 10 of the 2 splits. Pretty much split down the middle. Beautiful. Just the way we like it. Merch.tgsrci.com, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Takes you to the same place, ladies and gentlemen. It's the GSRC merch store. Grab your GSRC merch and paraphernalia, be it a shirt, a jumper, a singlet, a bucket hat, a hoodie. I mean, there's plenty to choose from. Stubby cooler, bottle opener, you name it. I believe the bingo shirts are available there as well at the moment, taking the absolute piss. And I think I've even convinced them to do what they do at the local RSL and ex-services club and leagues club and actually make different versions of those shirts so that not everyone can scream bingo at the same time. So we're looking forward to seeing what they come up with that. And we might even have to have a paper and pen version of the game as well. Everybody enjoys playing Zach Bingo on a Thursday night. I'm not terribly sure why. I don't know. That was the idea, remember, of Chris Whitaker, Trent Lavis and Grant Gill back in the day. And it seems as though it's got a new lease of life the moment. Been a good night. Been a lot of fun. We sincerely hope that you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, our colleagues at the Australian Sim Racing Group will keep you entertained Saturday night and all day Sunday. You're going to have the sports bar set up operational tomorrow night to be able to watch us and them. GT1 and IndyCar here, co-driver clash there. Fascinating weekend ahead, and it all starts tomorrow night right here on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Joe Baldwin and I with you from 7:25 Eastern Standard Time, and very much looking forward to that GT1 into IndyCar. We are Thorn, but it's about to end very shortly. On behalf of the crew here, cricket continues tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. Another solid day as a sports fan. So you spend the day watching the cricket, the night with us. Pretty good way to spend a Friday, if you ask me. On behalf of Andrew Neil, Jacob Miller on his GSRC commentary debut, Matt Schmidtke before that, the entire broadcast commentary and production team here. Sincerely hope that you've enjoyed it. And as we say goodbye to you, I do want to end on a somber note and say to Dan Natoli and his crew in the Australian production car circles. They lost one of their crew today. He was affectionately known as Santa in these parts. The Queensland Motorsport community in mourning at the moment following the sad passing of Ray Clark. Earlier today, I must admit, didn't realise that he was unwell. Was a little bit surprised with the announcements that come through tonight to announce that he had departed. So it's, really sad news. He was 77 years old. And he'll be sadly missed. It's a miss that's it's a loss that's being felt right around the paddock, because all these guys were going to be getting together this weekend to go racing. They still will, but they will do so with heavy hearts. So we are have a look at Andrew Neil. I'm trying to be deadly serious and be sincere, and he's throwing shade from the Denos Direct Department. Very nicely done. Sincerely, all our love to everybody that's going through the night with a heavy heart on the on the back of the passing of the man affectionately known as Santa in these parts. Always a character of the paddock, and that's exactly how he'll be remembered, and they'll be commemorating him and remember and celebrating him this weekend by doing what he would have loved to be doing, and that is turning up at the racetrack and having a steer. So our thoughts are with them. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage. Thursday Night Motorsport, live, exclusive and free across the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club on Facebook and YouTube. We look forward to your company again, same time, same place, tomorrow night. Well done to Raymond Mallon. Well done to Jordan Pianazzola. Well done to Chapo. Well done to Alex Burgess. I've mucked that up. I'm not even going to try and redeem it. Well done to
Burgess.
Alex. Yeah, I know. Well done
Getting
to...
hungry.
I know. No. Borges Rudd is his surname. I just had to... I carried the wrong syllables. It's all good. Well done to him. And well done to Adam Lavis, the 3 race winners in a chaotic night of Formula V from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We'll see you tomorrow night. We've got Alton Park and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the agenda. Until then, enjoy the only handful of minutes left of your Thursday evening, everybody, especially those of you on the East Coast. It's already Friday morning in New Zealand, and we look forward to your company back here. Same time, same place tomorrow night. Until then, it's bye for now.